while you may not look like me, how my daily life looks, it don't look fun. It don't look fun.
Bro, what are you doing with your life, bro? What do you, like, I thought you said you want to be great. I thought you said you want to be the best. But you don't act like you don't move like it. You wake up late. You sleep late. You don't study. You don't work out. You don't want this.
You still clubbing, you still partying, you still popping bottles with models. You doing the most already, and you ain't even on. You trying to convince everybody around you that you on, but you not on. As soon as you get any kind of money, you buying a bunch of shit that you really can't afford. What you got the latest iPhone for?
Scrolling like mindlessly, like robots,
Zombies.
watching things happen, and they're not doing anything. And you've lost hours of your time. You've absorbed nothing. You've got no information. There's no net benefit to what you've done, and it's everywhere. I'm like, hey, that's the devil. Put that thing down.
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting out of that? You're not getting anything out of that.
Hey, look, let me guess. New year, new you, right? New year, new you. You've been saying that every year, but it's always new year, same you. You know, I just don't understand why you go every year remaining the same when the person that you are today has just been destroying your life. You're mentally killing yourself every year, and you don't even realize it. I mean, it's time for you to look yourself in the mirror and make some change before it's too late. But if you cool being like that, it is what it is. It's your life.
I had two options: to either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed. I don't feel like I'm missing. I don't have what you all have, but you'll never in my life hear me tell you I'm missing something. Everybody is. They're missing this feeling. Most people are missing something because they don't know who they are. They never examine themselves. They've never done this experiment on themselves. The lab rat, we're all lab rats, but you're also the scientist. You create your own self. Most people are missing something because there's so much trapped in there. I don't even want to say potential. I think that's word used out too much too. There's so much in you that God or wherever the hell you believe in, or if you're an atheist, in you that you have not unlocked. That you walk around with this gorgeous wife or great husband and all this money. You're like, God, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's about 75% of you is still in there. So many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is better than them. And they were born, not with the greatest tools. You don't need. My biggest fear, honestly, was, let's say this. Let's say I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't care. So let's just play a game with me. Let's say you're God, and we have a big, long line of people. And I made it to heaven. I'm 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I made it to heaven. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, spraying for cockroaches. That's what I did. But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you're judging us all now. So we're in line. We're all sitting there in line. And you have Adam Brown. He has a big board up, and you're talking to Adam Brown about his life. And you rip it down, and I'm next in line, David Goggins. I see my name, and I see all this shit, and God goes, hey, you say, read this, man. And I'm reading this list, and I'm seeing 182 pounds, Navy SEAL, Ranger School, motivational speaker, changing lives. Okay, man, pull-up record, all this shit. And I'm like, that's not me, man. And God looks at me and says, that's who you were supposed to be.
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid I haven't been alive enough. It should be written on every schoolroom blackboard. Life is a playground.
You have one life, don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for mediocrity. And I think the only, people debate intelligence, for example, right? We talk about IQ tests and all that. But I think the only true test of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life.
So it's a choice that people have to make in life. And if you don't believe that you're here for a reason, your life will seriously hurt.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
Where you are in life right now is exactly where you chose to be, whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not. That is the reality of the situation. There's a plethora of opportunity, access, and information out there for you to become successful, for you to build the life that you want. But the truth is that you don't think it's possible and that you're comfortable with the life that you have. Therefore, you live and operate accordingly. So where you are right now in life, whether you believe it or not, is where you chose to be. And that is the truth. So ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to be? That is the question.
You do realize that this could be the year that you change your life if you just lock in? A whole 365 days ago, day in and day out towards your goals with no distractions. We ain't hearing the excuses no more. Your future is tired of that. 2024 should be an apology toward all the BS that you did last year. Lock in and change your life. Like your life depends on it. Because it do.
Imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now. And you're the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
What would that guy do?
Yeah.
What would that guy do right now?
Yeah.
Because you are.
Who's holding you back? The system, the man, the woman, the ideology, the culture, all that stuff, bro. If you want to become a high-tier individual and if you want to live life on your own terms and be the wielder of your future, the main character of your life, then you need to start moving with intention. You need to start moving and operating with a lot of power.
What one big thing could that guy accomplish that would make all of the mediocrity of your life up to this point irrelevant? And why are you not putting every single ounce of your effort to prove that one point so that you could then justify everything up to that point? So it wouldn't have been mediocrity. It would have been the path to get there. Exactly. Thank you. It would have been the journey.
Finding success begins with taking 100% responsibility for your life. You have to give up your excuses and victim stories. You have to drop all the reasons you can't succeed or haven't succeeded so far.
That you're never going to do well in life until you take responsibility for your life, for your choices, for who you are, for what you do, for your actions.
It's time to stay focused. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you staying on the basketball court so much? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it. It's time to decide, clubs, partying,
These fucking computers, phones, Instagramming back and forth, whatever the you call it nowadays, tweeting and texting and shit. Get back to work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the fucking noise. Get back to the fucking mental lab.
Some of you need to give up your cell phone because the time you spend on your cell phone could be used for your success. The time you could be using to be successful, you're using it on the cell. And the cell phone is not bringing you nothing but a bill.
We waste so much time on our little gadgets. It's unreal. And we talk about we have no time. If you really you have to take your day and write down this one day. Everything you do, write that down, and you're like, my God, I am wasting so much time on frivolous. It's not even funny. I mean, it will. If it doesn't infuriate you, it should, because there's so much time. I can't get it in. Look at your schedule. You just wasted 7 hours today on it. I mean, and you don't have an hour a day to try to get something in for yourself. Right now in life, your family is looking for that one guy right now. They're looking for that one guy who's strong. Who's that pillar for the family in hard times? Make sure they look around and find you. These are the times right now for you to step up. Be that guy that can take anything.
Why not you? You've got the brains. You can make decisions. You can study the plan. You can change your life. You can grow immensely in the next few years. You can make your dreams come true. You can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. You can become healthy. You can become powerful. Why not you?
Like, this might be counter to most people's beliefs, but I think most people have the potential to be exceptional. And because most people are peculiar in their own way. They just stifle that because they want to be accepted by most people, but in so doing, never accomplish what they want to do because they conform.
Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites or or a crazy life story in order to be successful in this world. But the truth is, you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful and whatever you put your mind to.
I don't believe in talent. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life. Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am except my family. So to all the kids around the world watching, paying attention, and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
It's time to unwrap the potential you can be. Superior, man. It's within you. It's within every single one of us. And the people that have risen to that level were no different than any one of us. It's just they believed it and they're willing to work their ass off to get it.
You know, living life of quiet desperation. I mean, that just terrifies
Well, that's Thoreau's quote, that most men live lives of quiet desperation. It's one of my favorite quotes ever because it's true. And I've been that guy. You're just in this world where you just can't wait to just run away.
There comes a day where push comes to shove, where being mediocre and being like average and just burns and sucks so much. You can't deal with it one more day, and you get off your ass and you create something that's always been there. It's always been inside of you trying to come out, but you've never wanted to unwrap it because it's too much pain and commitment. You were scared you were going to fail. You were scared if you started, you never finish it. You didn't want to tell anyone about it. You knew it was there, but you never wanted to embark on it until something hits. You get fired or somebody else gets success, remind you of what you could have been. And then the spark is born. And no matter what happens, I'm never going to be in this boat again. And you get up and you go, even if it gets knocked down, you just keep going. You're a wild man. And life has never been so sweet.
The point is that there's some games you don't get to play unless you're all in. And the other thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is going to kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Really? Why not pick the best thing possible that you could do?
Is there any better feeling than being locked in?
No.
Like when you are locked in and you are, you're taking, and you're in a rhythm and every day you're knocking it down, you never miss a step.
Nope.
Like you go to bed feeling great, you wake up feeling inspired, you go in the gym with energy, right? Like that's the best way to live.
You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck, if you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind and feel this level of happiness as you rise one time in your life.
Success is this, and training and struggling and suffer and sacrifice, and then success is this. But this tastes so much more than this. But I'm not sure that people today are 100% aware what it means. And it's everything.
When you've tasted success at one point in your life, when you have sex with a woman and it's the best sex ever, you want to have sex with her again. When you eat a great juicy steak, man, you want to have that again. When you go out and you train hard to play baseball and you connect and you hit the winning home run, you want to feel that way again. When you taste these finer things of life, all the pain, all the work, all the sacrifice to get them is well worth it. If anything, it's a small down payment for the price and the reward you got.
And now I can say, like, okay, these are the things that make me happy. So I should start chasing those things.
What would your life look like if you had the ability to adhere to every single plan, every single dream, every single goal that you have set forth for yourself from the time that you were 10 years old to however you are now? What would your life look like? It would look completely different. So fix that problem of adherence and everything takes care of itself. Because now you could say, I want to be this. I want to build an amazing company. You could become that. I want to build an amazing relationship. You could do that. There's literally nothing you can't do if you can develop a plan and then adhere to it.
Your brain is set up to produce positive emotion. Literally, this is what the positive emotion system does. It computes decrease between you and a goal. So if you have a goal and you see that you've done something that moves you towards it, your brain produces a dopamine hit, and that makes you feel good, and it strengthens the neural circuits that moved you forward. It does both of those. That's reward and reinforcement. And what that means is if you don't have a goal, you have no positive emotion. And when people say, you know, they're aimless, they're partly telling you that they're anxious, but they're also telling you that they have no positive emotion. So then you say, well, what sort of goal should you have? Because that's the next question, right? And the answer to that is, well, ask yourself.
I used to think I was put on earth to be a wrestler. That was it. I was put on earth to be a WWE superstar. And then I started doing a little bit of acting, and I'm like, oh, no, it's easy. I'm a storyteller. No, I'm a human being, breathing air like everybody else. And I'm significantly insignificant. I'm a grain of sand on a beach in a pale blue dot out in the middle of nowhere. I just want to be useful. Life to me is a gift. And dude, I have, in my tenure, I understand I have been given lottery ticket after lottery ticket after lottery ticket. I am lucky. I understand my luck, and I try to live each day grateful for the luck. So when the sun goes down, I look at what I did for the day, even if it's relax. Did I earn the sunset? Some days I don't, and I motivate myself to try to do it again, but most days I do. And that's my sense of purpose. So now I have what makes me happy. And I can chase those things. And that's what makes the ride super fun, man.
I remember we were playing against the Lakers, Tom, and we were out here in LA. And, you know, look, I always try to outwork people, right? That's just how I made my mark. So the game was at 7. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come to the Staples Center because we're playing. This is when the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. Right. Okay, this is like the championship Lakers. I was like, you know, I'm going to get there at 3 o'clock, and I want to make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. So, you know, get in the car, get to the gym, get there, and as I'm walking onto the court, who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant, already working out. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's Kobe. What's up, Kobe? You know? And, you know, so I put my sneakers on, and do you ever get lost in what you do where you end up like, wait, it's been an hour and a half? Like I'm here, I'm in it. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down, and of course I still heard the ball bouncing. I looked down, I'm like, this guy's still working out? He was working out for like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. Right. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant or lazy. He's doing like game moves, right. You know? I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. So I sit out there and watch, another 25 minutes. And he got done. I was like, okay, I think I've seen enough. Go play, you know, come back, get in the sauna, get ready for the game. That game, he drops 40 on us, Whoa. Okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand, like, why he works like that. Right. So after the game was over, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in. and I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you.
Wow.
Lion is the king of the jungle. How can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. When a lion walks up and sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. An elephant thinks run. And it's all mentality. Because when a male lion walks up, he may be outnumbered by a pack of hyenas, but I'm king of my jungle because of my mentality.
That's me. It's only me. You described yourself on the pitch as believing you were a lion. Is that right?
I am a lion. Yeah. Lions, they don't compare themselves with humans.
Who's the best player in the world ever?
For me, the best player in the world ever
Diego Maradona.
Theo.
Me.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time when I beat Sonny Liston. I told you today I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated. Never again make me the underdog until I'm about 50 years old. Right. Then you might get me.
If I can instill one piece of advice into all human beings, it would simply be to believe in yourself beyond, without a doubt. Believe in yourself, and don't rely on anybody to believe in you. Don't rely on anybody to push you or make you better. Believe in yourself and only yourself, and allow that human being to make you a better person.
Why did you believe that you could pull off this upset? You know, if you don't believe in yourself, what you do, you never achieve the nothing. I believe. My team believe me. And you all should believe in yourself.
Let's face it, it's you against you out there. When you walk on that court, you have to think, I am the best
ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Beliefs become self-fulfilling. See, once you believe something, you don't see anything else. I've done this with your audience before. I said, look around the room and find brown. Everybody looks around. And I say, now with your eyes closed, tell me you saw that was red. And nobody sees much red. And I say, open your eyes, look for red. And they find more red. Why do you find more red? Because you get what you look for. Your beliefs condition you to find. And then I say, how many saw, I said, you even saw things that weren't there. How many saw beige stuff, called it brown just to feel successful? They all laugh. How many saw burgundy and called it red? They all laugh. And the reason is because once we're after something, we'll even make the color different to feel successful. If you think somebody's mean, you'll find meanness in them if it's not there. If you think somebody's your dear friend and they do something terrible, you'll say, oh, they're having a bad day. So our beliefs control us. So unquestioned beliefs that produce stress, those are the ones you've got to question.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe. When you believe, everything is possible. You have two hands. Everything is possible. Go. And take it whatever we want.
Like, it don't matter how it might look. It don't matter how much it feel like it ain't gonna work.
Delusional.
Complete delusion. You gotta believe the delusion. Because it's only delusional until it works. So is it really delusional? I'm gonna call it delusion until it don't work for nobody else to see, but for the whole world to see. And then once the world see it, there's nothing delusional about it. Now your delusion becomes, oh, he was a genius.
People think you're too obsessed. You're a weirdo. Stop only making videos. Like, get a life. Be realistic. People will convince you you're out of your mind for wanting to do this. But then once you're successful, they're like, yo, your drive, your tenacity was great. But it's like, yeah, well, where was that back then? You know what I mean? I didn't get that when I was a small channel. And so I think you're crazy until you're successful, and then you're a genius.
Delusion is only delusional when you don't accomplish the goal of making your delusions a reality.
Right.
That's when it's delusional.
Right. You're just enforcing your mindset.
Oh, yeah, to allow those delusions to be the reality of your assessment.
I am a strong believer that we quit. Because why? How the 297-pound cockroach guy who quit on everything is now considered one of the best men on the planet? Mm-hmm. How is that possible? It means I had to change one thing, my mindset. So there's no way in hell that was in, but that guy was in me. Mm-hmm. Well, that guy came down here and said, hey, guess what, man? You're a fat ass, but I'm gonna now make you a badass. I'm gonna miracle this to be a badass. No, it was in me. I had to believe to make that belief work.
So let me ask a question. What kind of seed is in you? See, I believe part of our responsibility in life is to find out who we are. And I believe you were intentionally created for a myriad of purposes. There are many things we can do with our lives. And I think it's our job to find out what those things are and to do them as well as we possibly can.
You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? Herbalife has got the ability to make it all come true, but you've got to decide, what do you want?
Find something. Find a thing that you genuinely enjoy, because getting good at things you genuinely enjoy is extremely beneficial, because it lets you know that, like, everybody thinks they're a loser. Every young person thinks they're a loser. At least a young person in the situation I was at. Like, I didn't know I wasn't a loser until I started winning, until I started doing martial arts. Martial arts taught me that, like, I could get better at stuff, that I wasn't really a loser. I just was someone who was, like, in a situation. But you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it.
Almost every really successful, happy man or woman will say that the reason for their success is that they are doing what they love to do. Whenever a person is unhappy for any reason, I always ask them how much they enjoy their work, and would they choose to do this type of work if there were other options open to them. Invariably, when someone is generally unhappy with their life, especially a man, they are dissatisfied with their work for some reason.
If you don't enjoy what you're learning and you just feel like you're learning to do something that was expected of you since you were a kid, that your parents wanted for you or that society wanted for you, you're not going to enjoy it. And that alone is going to hurt how much you learn. People who enjoy learning something can be so much better at people who are just innately smart.
I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
I don't know what my passion is, Gary. Good. Spend the next 3 years trying stuff. Take a cooking class, go skiing, play board games, drink wine, drink bourbon, drink sake, eat strawberries, get into sneakers. Like, you're not going to know unless you try, right? So it's a fun, everyone's so upset and disappointed they don't know their passion. And I tell them, this is the best day of your life. You get to explore for the next 3 years. Yeah. Just do a bunch of things.
The best way to find what you love in life is by doing something you hate. A cushy job, a cool job, a job that you like is comfortable. That comfort breeds complacency, and that complacency breeds stagnation. So you just kind of stay there because it's a fine job, even though it may not be your dream or your passion. And then all kinds of shit happens. She gets pregnant, you buy a car, there's a mortgage payment, you have a house, you have this cushy life, and before you know it, you have these handcuffs, these golden handcuffs that is your day job, that you didn't love, you never loved. It was just an easy job, but now there's no way out of it. And all of that happens by doing something that's cushy and easy.
Now let me give you a quick exercise, which is my only take-home or homework exercise for our time together. I want you to take a piece of paper like this and write down 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next 12 months. Write the word goals and today's date at the top of the page. Write down 10 goals you'd like to accomplish, and then ask yourself this great question. If you could only accomplish one goal on this list, but you could accomplish it within 24 hours, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Now, this is a great question because it'll usually jump out at you. You say, that's the one. If I had this, that would have more of an impact on my life than anything else. Sometimes it's a financial goal, sometimes it's a health goal, sometimes it's a relationship goal. But whatever it is, put a circle around that goal and then turn the page over and write it at the top of the page. Set a deadline on the goal, make a list of everything that you could think of to do to achieve the goal, and then begin working on your list. And here's the kicker, do something every day. Do something every day that moves you one step forward towards your major goal. My promise to you that this exercise, selecting your most important goal, making a plan, and working on it every day, will change your life in ways that you cannot imagine. They say that people begin to become great when they determine their major definite purpose, their number one goal, and work on it every day. It is the secret to becoming a self-made millionaire. It's the secret to great success in life. My promise to you is a week, a month, a year from now, you'll look back and you'll be absolutely staggered at the difference it makes.
When I have a higher purpose, I find the energy and the courage to go outside my comfort zone. And then I can do things other people can't do. I once had a daughter. She was single. She was living in Washington, D.C. And she wasn't married yet. And she said, the only men left at my age are pigs, right? There's not a good man left on the earth. And then she found one, and she got really excited. Relationship grew. And then one day our phone rang. She's talking to her mother, and I know what's going on. This guy just dumped her, right? She's all upset. Many firstborn children share a common characteristic. If they're miserable, they want you to be miserable too, okay? And she said, I'm coming home this weekend. I thought, oh, no. Her mother hangs up and says, you're the father, you go to the airport and pick her up. So the next day I go pick her up. She gets in the car and she doesn't say, hello, how are you? She says, that no good, dirty, da-da-da-da-da. 5 minutes later, she takes a breath. And I said, are you problem solving or purpose finding? She didn't even hear me. We're finally pulling in the driveway. She takes another breath. I say it again. She says, what are you talking about? I said, well, I wrote that thing to your brother about the difference between purpose finding and problem solving. I sent you a copy. And she said, this is the real world. I said, well, I think it applies to the real world. By then we're in the house. I pull out a sheet of paper out of my file, and it says, Robert Quinn, life statement. So I take it, I hand it to her. She rips it out of my hand. She looks at it, and then she grows kind of quiet. And she looks up and says, when you feel bad, you read this? I said, no. When I feel bad, I rewrite it. It's been rewritten hundreds of times. She said, yeah, I can hardly understand some of this stuff. I said, yeah, it's written to a customized audience, one person. Then the first miracle happened. She said, do you think I could write one of these? And I said, I'm sure you can. She went in the bedroom. For a day and a half, she worked on her life statement. The miracle was, I did not have to suffer during that day and a half. Right? She got on the plane. She flew home to D.C. A couple days passed. I get an email. She said, he called me. Oh, this will be interesting. And she says, so I wrote him this letter. And I'm reading this letter that she's attached. It's incredibly vulnerable, open, honest. And I'm thinking, wow, this is impressive. And then at the bottom it says, and my roommate said I can't give this to him. And then she said, what my roommates don't understand is that what he thinks doesn't matter. Whoa, wait a minute. A few days ago, what he thought caused her life to shatter. Now she's saying, what he thinks doesn't matter. What is she saying? She's saying, this is who I really am. Didn't know this a while ago. Now I know it. It doesn't matter what other people think. You see, when you clarify your purpose, you become centered. You become powerful. Now here's the interesting thing in the sequel to that story. In the next few months, she began to be promoted. Her career turned. Why? You know, this was a dating breakup. Why is her career taking off? Because when you find purpose and meaning in what you're doing in one area of your life, It grows in every area of life because you are one person. That company had a woman coming in with the same dresses on, body looked the same, but it wasn't the same employee. This was a woman now full of leadership for the first time. She had a higher purpose, and she was willing to take initiative that normally she wouldn't be willing to take. That's leadership. When someone has that meaning and that integrity, things start to change.
You need to understand, like, everything in life and initially feels like bad reinforcement. You start going to the gym, you feel weak in order to become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't understand, you feel stupid in order to become smart. The process of discomfort is inevitable. You have to go through it. Most people have that initial feeling, that initial lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that they have to be humbled first in every aspect in order to grow.
So, number 11, way to stay poor. Avoid discomfort, all right? A lot of us, we have new things. You have to take risks. You have to learn things, and it's uncomfortable because you will suck, right? Of course you will suck. It's normal to suck. But people avoid discomfort because they don't want to go through that. And it's so silly. The discomfort that they're feeling is the judgment they impose upon themselves about not being good at something they've never done before. How insane is that?
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
I think it's over.
In here, you think it's over, or in here, you think it's over?
In my head.
What does this say?
It would never be over.
Because the heart, we know it's like, it goes very deep. Yes, because it's related to how you feel. So the point is, whatever you would like to express into the outside world, number one is, you need to have it. So this is the baseline. This is the main idea.
So if you want to express love to the outside world, you must have love within you.
Yes. There's something that is like very individually based about you. And then there's also something about you which is connecting the people. There's something loving about you. There's something compassionate about you. And if you are sending from the heart the signals out to the universe, that there is something that there is something you would like to receive. I think the best way to express it is when it comes from the heart. Because there is no doubt there.
So let me ask a question. What kind of seed is in you? See, I believe part of our responsibility in life is to find out who we are, to discover ourselves. First off, we need to respect
that seed of what you believe is
fearless.
in there. You got to be fearless. You got to be relentless. Nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life, right? Nobody knows what you are. It's like, as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that.
The only thing that's holding you back is you're worried about what other people have to say. You give up on that and you're clean and you can go.
And then start to use this lifetime because it's your lifetime. This one, only one time. So stop listening too much to other people, how to live your life or whatever. It's about the self-expression of your own perspective about how you would like this world to be.
See, if you know this is where you're supposed to be right now, doing what you're supposed to do, does it bring joy to your heart?
Extreme joy.
Do you love it?
I really do. Obsessed.
And you're serving a purpose with it, so you don't need anybody's approval.
People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, You better love what you see.
If you ask a parent, why do you love your child? A parent doesn't say, well, because they got an A in maths yesterday, and because, you know, have you seen how hard they work at school? And,
Right.
you know, they look so cute in that dress this morning. And you ask, why do you love your child? A parent will go, they're my child. They're mine. Well, what if you took that model and you used that as your model for self-love? So you got a human. Your job, your only job in your life is to take care of that human.
Do you see there is the loving heart inside? There is the strength or the willpower inside this body.
You know, if you don't believe in yourself, what you do, you never achieve. You achieve the nothing. I believe. My team believe me. And you all should believe in yourself.
Think about when you first got into this occupation, how excited you were. The things that you did over and over again. Are you still doing those things?
It's still in you. It's still alive. If you'll start believing again, God can bring it to pass. Remember your dream. What has God put in your heart? What did you used to be excited about?
What's important to you? And what's important to you for whatever reason?
Find something. Find a thing that you genuinely enjoy, because getting good at things you genuinely enjoy is extremely beneficial.
And so the passion comes from that, because once you have that love, you just want to be a part of this thing all the time.
It's either you have it or you don't.
That sounds like excuses to me. I mean, you got to figure it out, right? If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out, right? And every puzzle is constructed differently. All right, AI's situation when he came into the league was different than mine. Mike's situation in Chicago was different than mine, right? Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just got to figure out your own puzzle.
What the f do you want to be? What do you want to do? How does that look like? Because how the f you can have discipline when you don't know where to put that?
Right.
That make sense?
Yes.
You ain't gonna have no f discipline. You're like, I don't know what I want to do. So you should wake up and just arbitrary and just wake the f up and just start getting after it? No. You gotta have in order. Plans, goals, destinies, journeys. Shut your phone off. Yes. Shut the TVs off. Shut the world off. And tune into you.
I think this is the way. Slowly, steadily, wholeheartedly.
Find a dark, quiet place for you to think. You have to think first. And then when you think, you have to think, okay, what's my purpose in life? From your purpose, now you found, okay, I found my purpose. What are my goals now? Okay, you find your goals. Now you got to sit down and plan. Plan, how am I going to accomplish these goals? Then from there, the hardest part is you have to put the action in.
You have to make up your mind that you are in it for the long haul. You're not going to let people talk you out of it. Circumstances discourage you. Delays cause you to give up. Critical people cause you to get distracted. You're going to stay focused.
There is the discipline inside this body. There is a loyal person standing.
Why not you? You've got the brains, you can make decisions, you can study the plan, you can change your life, you can grow immensely in the next few years, you can make your dreams come true, you can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through, you can become healthy, you can become powerful. Why not you?
Doubt is such a strange thing. I mean, it's, you know, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. I mean, you just put one foot in front of the other, you control what you can't control, and then you see what the outcome is, right? If you win, great, you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks, but you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway, right? So it's really pointless to sit here and debate or have doubt or this, that, and the other. You train as hard as you can, and you step out there and you let it flow.
When you cultivate and nourish that thing that is bringing you joy, and you pay attention to the subtle voices that are telling you, this feels right, When you commit to that completely, that will set you on a journey that will lead you to a place you can't possibly imagine.
This is a journal from high school where I wrote about how bad I wanted to change myself, to fit in with other people, to become more likable. And I would constantly improve myself, grow myself as a person so I can be that person that everybody likes. I would get left on red and I would genuinely question what was wrong with me. I would question what was it with me that made people not want to talk to me, or made people think that I was annoying, or just wanted to be absent from my life. And it got so bad to a point where I really wanted to change myself. I wanted to turn myself into a likable person. I wanted to turn myself into a completely different person.
I started lying about everything. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be accepted in some society of life, some social society. And I lost myself. I never had myself. I never found myself. I had no self-esteem.
Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid this. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how we think.
I don't think I'm beautiful until you call me beautiful. I actually don't think I'm the shit until you tell me I'm the shit. I don't have faith in me until you have faith in me. I don't believe in me until you believe in me. A lot of y'all have the deepest level of validation issues and you're not even conscious of it. You need people with you and around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the idea of spending time alone scares the shit out of you. This is not going to be a pattern of validation that gets fixed and handled overnight. You are deathly afraid to live with and be with you. And so you got text messages, phone calls, and people at your house, video games. You have to be consumed and around and in an environment with people all day, every day, because you don't love yourself.
If you don't have people that dislike you or get upset at you, then you don't respect yourself. And I know that that sounds crazy, but that pretty much just means that you're kind of teetering towards what everybody else expects from you or what everybody else wants or needs from you. I feel like that constant desire to appeal to every single person is disrespecting yourself. And if you don't even respect yourself, you can never count on anybody to respect you. I feel like people constantly disrespecting themselves is exactly why good things don't happen to people. That's exactly why people are so unsuccessful in life. Because if I wake up every single morning with the goal of working out or reading something and doing something productive, and then I don't accomplish any of that in the day because I disrespected myself. Let's say I just went to a party, or let's say I just slept in all day. I set out all of those goals and then I blatantly disrespected myself by not doing any of it. So now when I wake up and I try to set the same exact goals, I'm not going to accomplish any of it. Not because I don't have the motivation this time, but it's because I don't respect myself. Why would I respect myself if I've constantly proven to myself that I'm disrespecting myself? If you gave one of your friends an important task that could make or break your future, and then they don't do it, and then you give them the same exact task the next day so they can redeem themselves, and they once again don't do it, they're going to stop respecting that person to handle that decision. The same way that a lot of us wake up wondering why we don't have the motivation or wondering why we can't stick to these goals that we set out. It's because we don't respect ourselves enough to actually do it.
How much do you love yourself? Because if you understand the value of self-love, you'll never be friends with those type of people or ever accept any invites that has to do with this or that. Most of the people out here are running around empty. They have no sense of self, no sense of self-love. When I say self-love, it has nothing to do with celebrity, money, materialistic things, and all of the things that your negative mind could probably go to. It has nothing to do with self-love. It has nothing to do with looks, nothing to do with cars and any of the superficial things that one would assume that could make you love yourself even more. It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me.
Why should you love yourself? Because if I said, should you love yourself? Is it important? Everyone went, yeah, of course. Everyone agreed that was like important. But when I said, Well, why should you love yourself? People were really struggled with the answer to that question. And I would wait for an answer. I'd just sit there in silence with the audience. I did this at my retreat every year for years. I would just sit in silence while the audience came up with an answer to why to love yourself. And eventually someone would say, well, because we deserve it. And I'd say, okay, but why do you deserve it? Like, let's explore that. Why do you deserve self-love? Or why do you deserve love? Well, because I'm generous, because I'm ambitious, because I take care of my family, because I work really hard, because they would start reeling off these qualities. And I'd be like, this is a problem, because you're not those things every minute of the day. So are you saying you don't deserve love when you're not those things? And people would suddenly realize why they hated themselves so much of the time. Because they were never living up to this thing that they thought, if I'm these things, then I'm lovable. So anytime they said a mean thing, anytime they were selfish, anytime they didn't show up for their family, anytime they didn't work hard, they would suddenly go straight to, I'm detestable, I deserve contempt. So that didn't work. Not to mention, even on your days where you are those things, there's always someone who's more of them. So if someone can walk into the room and they're more hardworking, or they're more ambitious, or they're kinder, or they're more generous, do they deserve more self-love than you deserve?
Right.
That's a problem. If you ask a parent, why do you love your child? A parent doesn't say, well, because they got an A in maths yesterday, and because, you know, have you seen how hard they work at school? And,
Right.
you know, they look so cute in that dress this morning. And you ask, why do you love your child? A parent will go, they're my child. They're mine. Well, what if you took that model and you used that as your model for self-love?
If you want to learn about not having a mental self-image, watch your dog or your cat. They don't have an opinion about who they are. They just are who they are. So that removes an enormous amount of problems from their lives. Of course, they don't have the mind activity that creates a self-image in their head. They are pre-mind, and therefore their life is far less problematic than human life. You can see how wonderful it is not to have a self-image. You can look at an ugly dog or an ugly cat. They don't have a problem with that.
So you got a human. Your job, your only job in your life, is to take care of that human.
Yes.
You don't have any other job. Like, you may take on lots of other jobs, friendships, marriage, a career, but the one job you always have, no matter what, is you have to take care of this human. Look after them, nurture them, support them, encourage them, stand up for them. Try to give this human the best life you can.
So I knew through working out and through learning, because it took a lot for me to learn also. I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that.
I read a quote a little while ago that said, love yourself so much that nobody's absence bothers you. And I feel like that's honestly the biggest change in mentality that we need. We need to grow for ourselves, not for other people. You need to learn how to love yourself so much, not so another person's absence doesn't bother you, but love yourself so much that you love yourself more than caring if somebody's absence actually bothers you or not.
But it's also loving yourself, is also understanding how and when to say a healthy no. No is a complete sentence, my grandma says. I don't need to give any explanation. Sometimes it's just no and a period.
For example, somebody last week asked me to study, and I know the type of person I am. I know that if I study with a friend, I'm not going to get work done because we're going to talk the whole time. So I was blunt and I said no because I respected myself enough to know that I'm not going to be productive if I study with you. And there were no hard feelings on my end, but that person dislikes me now. And I feel like it's moments like this that kind of emphasize what I'm talking about. Because if I compromise with this person and then study with them, I would not have studied effectively. I would not be showing myself respect because I'm doing something that I know wouldn't benefit me just so I can make another person happy. And that's why I say that if you don't have people that dislike you or get upset at you, you're not respecting yourself because you cannot make everybody happy. It's borderline impossible.
I always say that my job is to like Lisa first. Before anything that occurs today, my job is to like Lisa and to know that I'm going to bring the best version of me in every situation I can. To like me before anyone on Facebook likes me, and to know that I'm okay. What does it mean to be everything to you? That's not an arrogant statement. It's not a place of self-indulgence. It's to recognize that self-care is not selfish. It's to recognize that you can only serve others from a full cup, and that it's your job to fill yourself up. Fill yourself up with positive thinking. That's why you're here. Fill yourself up with new possibility. That's why you're here. Fill yourself up with new opportunities. Fill yourself up with having the best people on your planet, loving yourself enough to remove unhealthy, toxic people out of your life.
People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, you better love what you see.
But a lot of us have already gotten ourselves into that position where we're doing this for another person. We're trying to love ourselves enough for another person. And if that's your situation, I would honestly say that that's perfect, because now you're down here, right? You need to rebuild yourself back up, and you're going to actually do it the right way.
So I made a list of how to love yourself. And it's even in poster and postcard form now. But number one on that list of how to love yourself is to stop all criticism. Just stop it now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number one, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself.
You know, you are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you did, you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving. Keep moving. You know, use it as fuel. Say never again. You know, I get what I did wrong, but don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learned. You know, and to have that attitude is a really important thing. And to not say, why am I doing this now? I could have been doing this my whole life. Well, you weren't, so is that going to help?
Yeah.
You know, you gotta not think like that. You just gotta be happy you're doing it now. Yeah, I realized at an early age that there's zero benefit in being hard on yourself, because I am, no matter what, I'm a perfectionist and I get very angry at myself. There's zero benefit to self-talk that's negative. So I cut that out of my life like very early on.
The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you act on it. Sometimes you act on it good, sometimes bad. You got to change the internal dialogue. That person in your head that's talking that shit to you, you got to change that.
I realized somewhere along the way that the negative, in any way, shape, or form, I didn't need it because I was so driven. Like that, the negative was just getting in the way. It was like I thought that it was helping me because I was like, come on, like get going. But then I realized like, no. Like there's no benefit to that, because you already have like this crazy desire to get better. So just don't ever be shitty to yourself.
How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing.
And then when I started paying attention to my thoughts and changing them and saying, you know what, thank you for sharing that, brain or spirit or whatever's going on in there, but you know what, I am doing good. I am better. I am trying, you know, and redirecting those thoughts to be more positive thoughts and affirmations.
You did some things that you regret. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. Things don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. We made decisions and there was a bad result at the end of that decision. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person, no, it's like you made a mistake and that's okay and you got to move on.
You know, because it's one thing if you're sad because you've lost people. It's another thing if you're blaming yourself because you believe, and maybe with some cause, that you've made a mistake. And often people don't know what to do about the fact that they've made a mistake.
You got to forgive yourself.
See, a lot of us have done some things in the past, or lied to ourselves, or lied to others, or procrastinated, or, you know, all the things we've done has been recorded in our subconscious our whole life. And sometimes we get to the point where deep down subconsciously that we're not aware of, we don't think we deserve anything better than we're getting. And that's why we're getting what we're getting. See, you're never going to outperform your own self-image. So you may not be aware of it because we grow these things called egos to protect ourselves, but you theoretically could completely think you're a loser without even knowing you're a loser. So step one is forgive yourself and others from this point forward. You got to openly and honestly forgive yourself and others. Wipe the slate clean. There should be no resentment towards yourself, no resentment towards anybody else.
There's not much difference between forgiving other people and forgiving yourself. And you can't just do that by saying that you're going to do it. So what I've observed clinically, and I think this works philosophically as well, is that what you want to do to set things right, which is to atone, is to lay out what you've done that you think was wrong. Provide yourself with the best possible defense. So imagine you're taking yourself to task because you did some things wrong. It's like, okay, list them out in your imagination or write it down. But then you got to defend yourself as thoroughly as you possibly can, which doesn't mean you're trying to get yourself off the hook. It means that you're trying not to take yourself apart more than is necessary. And then you might ask, well, if I've done something terrible, maybe what's necessary is that I commit suicide, is that like I pay the ultimate price for my sins, and people will do that when they're depressed. And that's not right, because actually what you want to do to atone is to set yourself back on the right track. So the precondition for forgiving yourself is, first of all, to sort out whether or not you're accusing yourself too viciously.
You say, oh yeah, I made the decision at this time. Of course, if I had this other information, I'd change it, but I did what I did. The result was not what I wanted. It's not what I intended. Here we are. And now you can either beat yourself up, or you can say, here's some lessons I've learned from it. One of my SEALs killed a friendly Iraqi soldier in a terrible situation. And of course, you know, we could go back and the hindsight's 20/20, and I could have done this, and I should have done this, and I should have done something else. And I didn't. And that's on me. And so I think, you know, that initial part, if we're going to talk about forgiveness, the first part of that is taking ownership, to say, yep, this was my call. This was my decision. This is the move that I made. That's me. Mm-hmm. It's not anybody else, it's me. Mm-hmm. Because the minute you start saying, well, this person did that, and this person, you know, the enemy did this, and we didn't expect that. The minute you start casting blame on other people, now I think you're lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to cause more problems. So saying, yes, this was a decision I made. This was the information I had at the time. It ended up being a bad decision. Here was my intent behind it, and I've got to move forward. If you want to, you know, I always talk about you want to learn, but you don't want to dwell. Yeah, if you dwell on the past, if you dwell on the mistakes that you made, like you said, everybody is just doomed.
Just say the words, I forgive myself for every mistake I ever made. I am a thoroughly good person, and I'm going to have a wonderful future. Even better, you can add the words, I love myself unconditionally. When you love yourself unconditionally, you let yourself go. Now, whenever you think of that past event or situation or person that you hurt or did something untoward to, just repeat, I forgive myself completely. And then get on with your life.
So very simply, please take the passion that is pouring out of my face right now and run with it and go do something. If you need a little burst, here it is. Go do something.
You can make your parents proud. You can make your school proud. You can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way.
You got to be willing to risk everything to become that seed of what you believe.
That's all it takes to be successful, is an attitude.
What if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, or somebody say, you can count on me, and they don't come through? What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win.
That is the moment that everybody starts respecting you.
That's when the focus and the attention is going to be paid on you, bro.
Because in turn, they really want to be you.
I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. But here's what I know. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. Some of you already know that it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard changing your life.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit.
Hey, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna battle, you're gonna fight.
You are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain. For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream.
Believe in yourself, and don't rely on anybody to believe in you. Believe in yourself and only yourself.
It's very important for you to believe.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing. Once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
It's necessary to know that everybody won't see it, that everybody won't join you, that everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that.
As much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that.
Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. They stop growing, they stop working on themselves, they stop stretching, they stop pushing themselves. That a lot of people like to complain, but they don't want to do anything about their situation.
So when you go out and you try the business and the thing and you fail, they're like, whew, I don't look like it for not trying myself.
People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life if you want to live your dream.
If they want to follow the crowd, let them. If they want to walk out of your life and leave, hold the door open and let them. Let them lose you. You were never theirs because you were always your own.
So cut the chains and then start to use this lifetime because it's your lifetime. This one, only one time. So stop listening too much to other people, how to live your life or whatever. It's about the self-expression of your own perspective about how you would like this world to be.
The only thing that's holding you back is you're worried about what other people have to say.
It's time to decide, fuck clubs, partying, trying to fit in and socialize, rub elbows with everybody so people can stop calling you weird. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you not clubbing? Like every time I text you and invite you to go do something fun and cool, you always studying. Because I'm trying to get it. Let me tell you something, homie. These women ain't going nowhere. These clubs, these parties, all this shit ain't going nowhere. The more weird you are is a reflection of how committed you are.
If you really want to make an impact, you're going to get a lot of judgment, you're going to get a lot of hate, and ultimately you're going to get rejection. People are going to just diss on you. People are going to say that's not good enough. People are going to say, who do you think you are?
Haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something. If you have no haters, if you don't have any haters, you need to get some.
If you're not getting hated on, you ain't doing shit right. You need people talking about you. You need people saying, I don't like that person.
Because your belief is so insane, that your belief is so strong, that makes people be like, yo, this crazy.
When you believe in something so intensely that it's so important that if you're willing to lose friends or the respect of your neighbors,
to focusing on your molding and shaping and developing your ideas and your craft so that when it's time for you to make your rounds, you're going to fly.
that's when you stop caring what other people think.
That was the biggest thing. I had to stop caring what people thought about me. I realized that everybody's fucked up. Everybody that's talking to you about how jacked up you are, only thing they've done better than you is they've hidden their fucked up world better than you have.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
It's enough. You've lived your whole life this way. It doesn't matter what they think. When you're fucking 92 and you're sitting there, you're not going to give a shit about what Punk Man 96 had to say, or even what your aunt had to say, who's miserable because she never got hers, so she's trying to keep you down.
What people say does not matter to me, because whatever you do in life, good or bad, there's always going to be somebody. You know what I mean? So I don't give a shit.
There's a lot of power in that, to be able to put your life on a billboard for the whole world to see and say, judge it, man.
You're not what they say you are. You have to know who you are.
You have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself.
Believe in yourself and only yourself.
You got a dream, you got to protect it.
The problem with some of y'all is you want somebody else to support your dream. It's yours.
If they want to judge or misunderstand you, let them.
Take their words, take away the value of the words, and drop them to the floor. Because it's you who puts the meaning to it.
It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more. The people that are living their dream of finding winners to attach themselves to. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them.
There was a 20-year study done at Harvard. It said that your physical health is determined more by your relationships than the food you eat, the exercise program you're on, or the genes that you have inherited.
Whether we like it or not, the people around us are affecting how we see ourselves and how we wish to be seen. I think it's everyone we come into contact with that gives us the icing, that gives us the shape, that gives us the dynamic texture that makes us who we are. You know, and so I strangely enough, I feel like it's all of these people that I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to bump into that gave me a little bit of that texture and shape. And I think that's the same for everyone, you know. And that's probably why I'm so conscious of choosing my friends, because I think that's me actively choosing the people who are going to keep shaping me as I live my life.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's one of your top three. It is. 3 pieces. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all up? Just look at the bums you hang around with.
Who are you hanging out with? Do they make you feel good and motivated, or drained and maybe a little sick? Listen, if you want to catch the flu, what do? You hang out with somebody with the flu. Well, if you want to catch a happy, optimistic attitude about life, then you got to hang around people with happy, optimistic attitudes about life so you can catch it. Who are you hanging out with? Who are your best friends? You want to know the definition of a best friend? It should be someone who brings the best out of you.
You've got to upgrade your friends. It ain't nothing bad. You just got to upgrade people in your life. But if you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. You cannot be the go-to person in the group.
How do you define a bad friend? Like, how do you know? How do you spot one?
I don't think you spot them. I think you feel it. You know, and I think it's a lot easier for us to spot than we think it is. One of the easiest ones is, can you be yourself? You know, and sometimes they're not a bad friend. They're a bad friend for you because you are not revealing yourself to them. And so they are being friends with the idea of you, but they're not being friends with you. And what I learned very early on was like the value of good friendships.
Here's how you know if someone's your friend. A, you can tell them bad news and they'll listen. They won't tell you why, you know, you're stupid and why that bad thing happened to you and how something worse happened to them once and, you know, derail the whole conversation. you can actually tell them bad news and they'll listen. So that's a good thing. And then this is a weirder thing. You can tell them good news and they'll help you celebrate. And that's a really good way of deciding who you should have around you. Because if you have someone around you, you know, something good happens to you and you're kind of afraid to even admit it because, you know, God, something good happened to you. It's like, you let that be known and it'll certainly be taken away. So, you know, you come out and you sort of tell someone half-heartedly that something good happened to you and they give you a whack and then talk about, you know, the great thing that happened to them 3 years ago, or worse, the great thing that happened to someone that they knew 3 years ago.
I shut out a lot of noise. I only have people in my life that need to be there. If you don't need to be in my life, I'm not about acquiring more friends. I'm not about noise. I'm about, okay, are you trying to go somewhere? You can jump on board. If not, I don't want to hear all your problems. Do you have a solution for your problem? That's what I'm all about right now. As you're trying to fix yourself and dig yourself out of this deep hole that life, society, and you helped also. Those people who you saw down there in that hole who were there with you, who were your friends and people who you counted on, because you meet the people in the same situation that you're in life. Those people become your friends. And the second you try to get out of that situation and become better, those people are in that grave, in that dungeon, just yanking at your heels, man, saying, get the fuck back. Oh, no, come on back here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna make me feel like you getting out of this hole.
And failure validates their own cowardice. Right? So when you go out and you try the business and the thing and you fail, they're like, phew, I don't look like an idiot for not trying myself. See, Jim over here, he failed. So I don't have to try. That's why I can live this miserable job that I'm afraid to quit or whatever.
It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life. People who don't want anything, people who are not striving, people who are not challenging themselves, people who aren't growing, people who have stopped dreaming.
Like, go away from that person. They're not helpful to you, and they're not helpful to themselves either. And so you want to surround yourself, you got to think about this. You got to surround yourself with people who want the best for the best part of you. You can hang around with weasels and losers that are trying to pull you down to justify the fact that they're spiraling downhill as well. And you know, the upside of that is you don't have to have any responsibility and you can all whine about how wretched life is, you know, so that's pretty attractive. But I would say it's also a bad medium to long-term plan. And so it's acceptable and desirable to try to surround yourself with people who are facilitating your development. You know, and you might say, well, I've got people around, I know them well, you know, they're not doing that well and they don't fit into that category. It's like, what's your point? What are you going to do with them exactly? If they'll listen and cooperate with you and move towards a better future, great. If they don't pay any attention and they keep doing the same damn things over and over and they're not going anywhere and it's painful, then maybe the proper thing to do is say, you just have your misery. I'll go off and have my life. And maybe you'll wake up at some point in the future and think that's a better way of being. Because just putting up with it is, well, they call that enabling, right? You put up with that sort of behavior, you're providing tacit consent for it and even tacit approval. It's like, it's a bad idea. You have, I would say, both the right and the responsibility to surround yourself with people who are good for the best part of you.
It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more.
I really appreciated the people who would come into my life and what they would teach me and, you know, what they would remind me of myself, which is like an important thing to me. I think fundamentally that's what great friendship is somebody who sees a part of you that you wish to grow more of. And then every time you're meeting with them, they're encouraging it and they're reminding you of it.
Friendship means I could do 1,000 things for someone and they do nothing for me. But I walk around with the absolute confidence that the one day that I need something, I know without a shadow of a doubt they'll be there. It's not an equation and it's not a transaction, it's a feeling. And the way you get that feeling is with investing. You invest in that friendship and you build the confidence that they'll be there for you. And if you don't have the confidence, I strongly suggest you have a very uncomfortable conversation with your friend.
A friend of mine actually said to me on a trip recently, she said, In successful spaces, oftentimes people will use the word sacrifice. You know, we heard many people, we heard Martin, we heard so many people up on the stage saying sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. And she said one of the most powerful things ever to me. She said, when we say we've sacrificed something for our career, we shouldn't be afraid to put a name to who that sacrifice was, because oftentimes it was the people in our lives that we call friends.
Yeah. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to forgo?
Sun don't stop for nobody, man. Sun don't stop. Sun gonna be up in the morning regardless. That sun is gonna be up in the morning regardless of how I feel and how depressed I am. The sun is gonna shine in the morning, and at nighttime the moon gonna be there, and you gonna look up. These days gonna keep going by. So do you let the days go by and look up and you done wasted a year doing what? Or do you just pick it up? All right, well, got to figure it out, made some mistakes, life goes on. Let me figure out life from this point.
Nobody can destroy you if you won't let them. All right? Don't let them. You're a man. You are a man. Stand up and be a man. Make the hard decisions. Make the sacrifices. Make the unpopular decisions. And become comfortable in your own skin. And if you are not a person that you are comfortable being alone with, that is the one person in this universe that you have full power, full right, and full responsibility to change.
See, your problem is that you keep rushing the process. You ain't trying to be patient. Good things come to those who wait. This ain't a sprint. This is a marathon. And the more you keep worrying about the future, the more you're going to get lost in the present. You got to get up and just put one foot in front of the other, bro, and just have that blind faith. But what I will say is that we don't know when it's happening, but we know what's coming. We ain't putting this work in for no reason. So for that, I say keep grinding, and I believe in you.
Growing up in Italy, when I first moved over there, it was, I didn't speak Italian. I didn't have any friends. I had the game of basketball, and through sport and playing soccer, I was able to make friends and build connections. But it was a lot of time spent alone. And when I came back to the States, I wasn't the most athletic kid. I was really scrawny, like really, really skinny, and had like major knee issues because I was growing. So I was the dorky kid with high socks and big old knee pads.
It's fashionable now.
It's fashionable now. It wasn't then. It wasn't then. And so I had to look long term, because in the here and now, I couldn't compete with these kids. I mean, there was kids that were like 12 years old with beards. Like, I can't, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, they're doing windmills and dunking backwards, and I'm happy to like tap the backboard, So I had to look at it from a long term, because I wasn't going to give up on the game.
Right.
So I had to say, okay, this year I'm going to get better at that. Next year, this, and then so forth and so on. And then patiently, I was able to catch them.
What I am sitting here to teach to you is that you have to be willing to lose in the short run to win in the long run. You have to do without on the short run so that you can have in the long run. You have to be willing to be laughed at in the short run and spend 120 years having all your neighbors laughing at you building a boat in your backyard. You have to go through 120 years of them making fun of you and saying you're a lunatic, but they won't laugh in the end, because when the rain comes, they'll understand that you were working on something while you were waiting on something. Touch somebody and say, I'm working on something. Yeah, I'm working on something. I might not look good right now, but I'm working on something. I might not be impressive right now, but I'm working on something. I might not have any money right now, but I'm working on something. I may be a student in school living off of Roman noodles, but I'm working on something. I may have to study while you go to the basketball game, but I'm working on something. I may not get to do all the fun things that you get to do, but I'm working on something. I'm in the gym because I'm working on something. I'm on the field running because I'm working on something. I'm reading books at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm working on something. I'm exercising because I'm working on something. Anytime you're working on something, you got to go through a period of suffering. And if you lose over here, you're going to win over there.
Just keep stacking days. Just keep stacking days. As long as you keep stacking days, I promise you, you will see the change. But my coach used to always say, everything that you want is on the other side of hard. Right? He had another, I think I said in the book, he said, reps remove doubt.
right? Reps were moved out. My biggest frustration with my son used to be, we would go outside at the house and he would shoot a shot and he'd be mad. He'd be like, dang. I'd be like, what you mad for? You don't get up enough reps, you know, so.
Those are the only things you can control anyway.
Yep.
Your effort and the consistency of your effort, right?
Yep.
There's a quote in the book that I love, which is, hard work is my preferred language, and I try to speak it fluently.
Understanding and knowing that we can move from where we are, that we can begin to design the kind of life that empowers us, that gives us happiness, that enable us to be on top of who we are. Knowing that as we begin to explore new horizons and new vistas in life, that as we begin to focus on developing ourselves, as we begin to elevate ourselves and not to follow the crowd, activating the thinker in us and disciplining and putting on hold the emotional part of ourselves. It's not easy, but through practice and practice and practice, practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection. You're always bigger than what you do. And so all you're looking for are new breakthroughs through practice and practice and practice. You'll get better and better and better. And there's still some things that will happen to you that will catch you on the blind side that you did not anticipate. You'll get knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. You'll be able to get to your feet again, be on the ropes, but you'll have a fast recovery rate when you work on yourself. Read inspirational books, of course. Listen to tapes that begin to inspire you, and stay around people who will empower you.
Perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches. Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? Only 54%. In other words, even top-ranked tennis players win barely more than half of the points they play. When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted, it's only a point. Okay, I came to the net and I got passed again, it's only a point. Even a great shot, an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 playlist, that too is just a point. So here's why I'm telling you this. When you're playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next point after that, with intensity, clarity, and focus. The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself and to feel sorry for yourself. And by the way, your opponents have self-doubt too. Don't ever forget that. But negative energy is wasted energy. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, cry it out if you need to, and then force a smile.
Natural law is something that everybody has to abide by, like the law of gravity. Whether you believe in it or not, it exists. And if you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. Just jump off of a building and you'll realize that it's real. There's other natural laws, like the law of cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, the second law of thermodynamics. So we understand that for everything we input, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction to that input. So what people focus on is they focus on the output instead of the input. So you can't control when you're going to become a millionaire. That's the output. People are focused on the output. They're focused on the reaction. They can't control the reaction. All they can focus on is the action. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So What are the actions that you have to input in order to make $1 million? Do you know them? Well, no, I don't know them. Okay, well, how many millionaires do you know? And how many millionaires have you gone into and asked them what is the input for them to make $1 million?
We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished, will never be retired. My high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, I actually paid attention one time in class, and he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle."
What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Everyone does a few reps where the burn starts and they stop. No one goes the extra mile and keeps going. Like no one's in here right now. Why? Because it's Saturday evening, everyone's going to party, no one's in here, just me. You know, no one goes the extra mile. The thing about traffic jams, guys, there are no traffic jams in the last mile of the race. It's just you and your shadow. In the beginning, everybody's there. All the pretenders and the contenders, they're all there. But the last yard of life, the last mile of the journey, ain't nobody but you and your shadow.
Did any of you guys know I was running today?
No.
No one knew I was running today.
No.
You see me by myself?
Yeah.
Quiet? Humble?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. God watching me?
Yes, sir.
That's it, right?
Yes.
You want motivation? I'm not telling you the motivation. I just showed you 2 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So what am I doing? I'm showing you motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So all these words I can speak to you, they don't mean anything. A lot of these motivational people come out here and give you motivational words. It fires you up, right?
Yeah.
What should fire you up is just seeing my by myself doing what I preach about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It ain't nobody watching.
Wow.
You guys
Yeah.
just happen to see me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
It's about doing, my friend. Ain't about talking. So ain't nothing I can say. It's what I can do.
It's pushing the water, and there's a jogger, actually. Look at this. Wow. It's a Florida man right there for you, Blake, jogging in the hurricane.
It's the unseen work, which you just said is a true statement. Those are false dopamine hits that people are giving you, man. There's no belief in that. These are teamwork dopamine. Like I'm out running at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the gym, long sessions by myself. That's real. How I'm able to just extract dopamine, the good dopamine whenever I want. Man, I've trained 99% of my life alone. No one pat me on the back. I did all of the work alone.
I'm like the lone survivor in here. You know? Tonight will be over with 2. Tomorrow I'll be stronger for it. Another day will go by. 365 of them happen so fast. Who are you going to be in a year from now? And in a year from now, does that future person hold regret or pride?
You want to live a good life? Yes. I like to drink. I like to eat burger. Okay. You're going to pay the bill in the future.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
We're all writing a book. What's your book look like? What does your book look like? Like your life is a book. You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book?
You don't have to feel good about it. You just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. You are greater than your feelings. Going to bed late and waking up early to work for a few days won't kill you. You're not going to burn out. You're doing what it takes. If you're one of those people that push work-life balance, just remember, the people who like working a lot don't care. I've never regretted trying harder at anything ever. Hard times last long, but an epic story feels like a lifetime.
Fish just don't jump in the boat. Meaning you better go out there and do it yourself. Don't wait around and wait for someone to hand deliver something. Go make it happen. The fish don't just jump in the boat. If you want to go catch them, go catch them. Throw that line in the water and go do some work. And if it doesn't work that day, do it again the next day.
Instead of spending time getting in the mood to work, Just start working. Confront the work. People think they need perfect conditions to start, when in reality, starting is the perfect condition.
You know, your tired body, that unmotivated mind, and get out there and do it anyway. You know, you better fight yourself, because you're not only winning when things are going your way. You got to figure out how to win when things aren't going your way. You got to figure out when your body's fighting you, when your mind's fighting you. How do you still, you know, just say, fuck it, I'm gonna beat my mind today? Or do you just give in to your mind and say, oh, I'm tired today, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it, it's too hard, no one else is doing it, it's a weekend, it's too late, these are already off hours, oh, exactly what I want isn't happening right now. Like, okay, great. You know who that's great for? Your competition. You want that attitude to permeate the people that you're competing against. You want them to give in to their mind. You want them to say, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. But you want to be the one that says, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway.
There is always going to be champions. With your name, this is your choice. You want to put your name there? Okay, work hard. No? Bye-bye.
There are basically two kinds of people in life. They're winners and they're losers. And the definition is this. Losers take things that happen to them and that they feel inside that suck, and they wallow, and they use it for self or outward destruction. Winners take whatever they feel it, it sucks, and they transmute it into things that are good for themselves and for the world.
I'm gonna win wherever I go. Wherever I go, I'm gonna win. I don't care where I go. I don't give a damn what team I go to, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win regardless. It don't matter. It don't matter. You talk about making your teammates better, I'm gonna make them better. Wherever I go, I'm gonna win.
You want to become best. You want to become champion. And now you want to say like you tired? Who cares? You tired or not? Nobody care about you.
Get back to work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the noise. Get back to the mental lab.
Winning does not lie. When you look in the mirror, you can lie and see what's on the surface. You cannot lie what's going on inside.
You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt.
Go. Yep. It's you when all that fear that's in your head, all the what ifs and the scenarios that you create inside your own mind that are way worse than anything that is actually going to happen, they all disappear when you go. So just take action and start moving forward.
Well, life took me somewhere unexpected. I'm unprepared. It's about 6 degrees out here, and I'm underdressed. But guess what? No one gives a fuck. You gotta get the motherfucker in. Sometimes life can really hijack your fucking mind. When that happens to you, you're all fucked up. Your goals, your ambitions, everything is out the fucking window. In life, we all go through different things. Sometimes your girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with you. Guess what? Get the fuck over it. They no longer want you. Maybe you failed a test in school. You worked your ass off. Guess what? You failed the fucking test. Get over it. Move past it. Learn to not let life hijack your brain. At work, you've been working your ass off for that new promotion. You don't fucking get it. Someone else does. Maybe they kiss better ass than you do. Guess what? Get over it. Life will hijack your mind if you let it. Don't allow all these things to make you a lesser person. You must own your mind. Don't let life own yours. Get after it. Stay hard.
Watch, what do you say to the person whose potential is fucking great, but they want to play video games and eat pizza?
Well, what I told his son was pretty much this right here. He asked me a question about he wants to be really good at tennis. But what happens is after I play tennis for a while, I want to go play video games. You obviously don't fucking want it bad enough. Because a person that you want to, I became obsessed. I became obsessed with being the baddest motherfucker that God ever created. Am I that? I don't care. I believe it. And I was trying to tell him, once you become obsessed with something, obsessed, it's okay to be unbalanced for a while. It's okay. Don't be all this stuff people say, you got to be balanced. To be the best in the world at what you do. It's not about being a Navy SEAL, people. The best at what you do, you have to be unbalanced to find every bit of fucking energy and strength that you have to pull it off. Then you get balanced once you become great. And then you help other people become better from you being the best in the world. So if your family doesn't understand, why are you so daggone crazy? Because I'm trying to be the best I can to give you the best that I am. And it takes being fucking obsessed to where people think you're crazy. People look at me and say, oh my God, you're a masochist, you're this and that. I'm not gonna get into how bad I was in all these races and SEAL training. I had 21 stretch fractures going through Hell Week. 21 stretch fractures. You know what I did? I taped my ankles up. Roger that. I want to be a SEAL. So I did it. Become obsessed with being great. It changes everything. There's no fucking passion. There's no fucking motivation. There's no, oh my God, man, no. It's every day of your life just doing. No passion. No discipline, no motivation. All these words, I hate that so many people fucking use these words now because it's watered. It's someone sitting in the room by themselves and they figure themselves out and say, God, this is gonna fucking suck. Where's passion when you're 300 pounds? Where's the motivation when you can't read and write? Where is it? So how did this happen? I just fucking did. I just did. I said, maybe at the end of this journey, there'll be something there for me. If not, I can read. If not, I'm 185 fucking pounds. There's no magic potion. There's no, oh, let me wake up and look at some shit. No, all those words are overused. They're bullshit. It's all bullshit. Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to fucking be remembered? That's it. That's it. Period. So for me, failure is something that you should be afraid of. It should be afraid of, but that's why you should go out there and challenge yourself to fail. Because if you're not failing at something, that means you've set your goals to pass, to succeed at everything you do, which means you're not setting your goals high enough. So for me, okay, I'm gonna go out and break the Guinness Book of World Record for pull-ups. Lofty goal, which is why I failed it twice before I finally got it. I knew going into everything I've ever done in my life, Navy SEAL training 3 times before I got it. Everything I've ever done in my life took me 3 times before I got it. I knew that there was a huge possibility of failure. But what I gained from failure is this. When you see a movie, and you watch a movie about a person who keeps failing, and at the end, they succeed. How do you feel after you watch that movie?
Elated.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
I become the movie. I want to feel how I feel watching someone else in a movie. When I watched Rocky get his ass kicked, and I watched all these different things of failure, I was able to put myself there and say, God, man, how much do you feel now that you finally got there? That's what failure has done to me. I've watched so many things and watched someone succeed at the end of it. It's like, God, I want to feel like that. But failure causes that one feeling. Without that failure involved, you don't have that feeling. If you just pass and you succeed and you're great, that feeling, yeah, okay, I'm good. What takes you years, months, years to accomplish because you just can't get over the hump, but you continue going back to the drawing board. You're looking for those few seconds after you finally figure out the equation, whatever the equation may be, to get you to finally pass, to succeed. I live for that feeling, but I can't get that feeling without going through, fuck, I failed this equation. I failed this one, I failed this one, I failed this one. Oh, I'm figuring it out. So you start to feel it before you even pass, before you even get to the success part. And then once you succeed, the feeling is unbelievable. And you take that feeling of success through failure and you put it in your cookie jar. And you say, I'll come back and get you again. I'm gonna need you again down the road in my life. I'm a big believer in doing things that make you uncomfortable. So we live in a world that we want to be as comfortable as we can. And we wonder why we have no growth. We wonder why when the smallest thing in our life gets difficult, we wonder why we cower and we run away. Because we are kind of living our whole life is set up that way. Our whole life is set up in the path of least resistance. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to feel discomfort. So the whole time we're living our lives in a very comfortable area. There's no growth in that. So for me, I realized that. The reason I became 297 pounds is because that was comfortable. What was very uncomfortable was running. What was very uncomfortable was being on a diet. What was very uncomfortable was trying to face things that I didn't want to face. And I also realized when I was really big, I had no growth. Why? Because I was living comfortable. So I realized for me to find growth, I had to face all of these different things that made me very, very uncomfortable. And that's the one thing I'll say right now to people listening to this. A real person, a real alpha, a real go-getter, they ain't saying shit about nobody.
Correct.
That's why you will never, ever hear me dropping somebody's name, running my mouth about somebody. I don't know what you went through. I don't know what you're going through. I didn't wear the shoes you wore when you were a kid. I didn't grow up in your fucked up house. I didn't have your fucked up family. I don't know shit about you. So guess what I do? Shut the fuck up. Because real men don't say shit. Because first of all, we're too busy trying to grind and be better.
Correct.
Second of all, unless we know what we know, we shut our fucking mouths. But nowadays, there's not many real men who live by that creed of like, you know, if you're on social media running your fucking mouth and shit, you're just a bitch.
Correct.
You're honestly, and that's not me trying to be some after school special shit. You really are a bitch. Real men ain't doing it. Real men don't care about that gossipy bullshit. Get to work, man.
I have failed far more times than I've succeeded. Far more. You will never succeed more than you fail. That's not how it works. You know why? Because failure is a wonderful teacher. It's the only way to learn. You have to fail. Failure is a part of the process to becoming successful. I tell people this all the time. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the world, he took 946 game-winning shots. 946 times since he was in high school, the ball has been in his hand to take the game-winning shot with no time on the clock. He has only made 146 of those. He has missed over 700 times, but he has made 146. You know what they write about? When he make it. They write about when you make it. So guess what? When you get through failing, all you got to do is make one.
Develop your own compass and trust it. Take risks, dare to fail. Remember, the first person through the wall always gets hurt. You're going to fall down, but the world doesn't care how many times you fall down as long as it's one fewer than the number of times you get back up.
Well, no buzzword gets more attention or is more widely desired than the word success. People are spending hours, months, years in the search for success. The reality is not all achieve it, or at least not all persist long enough to achieve it because of one fundamental element of success: failure. All of you have raised your hands. All of you have failed before. I have failed many times before. And that is a fundamental part of success. The question then is, which one is greater? My desire to succeed or my fear to fail? I wish to discuss 3 principles today that, if applied, will impact our lives now and forever. Number 1, don't quit too early. Most obstacles we face are here to test our character, not to stop us. A common excuse that I think all of you will be able to relate to, that we often use is when something goes wrong, is, well, it didn't work out, thus it's just not meant to be, right? And we usually stop right there. But that's not how life works most of the time. I remember learning a lesson from a professor in California. He said, get in line and stay in line. Don't quit too early. Number 2, there's no such thing as failure. If you learned the lesson and gave your best, you succeeded. Have you thought of that before? Because we usually measure failure or success by the outcome, not by the effort. But if you've given your best, you succeeded. Robert Kiyosaki put it well when he said, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks.
I've never found anyone who said no or hung up the phone when I called. I just asked. And when people ask me, I try to be as responsive, to pay that debt of gratitude back. Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn, with people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
You won't necessarily succeed at everything the first time you try. That's okay. Some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who've had the most failures. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. Her first Harry Potter book was rejected 12 times before it was finally published. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He lost hundreds of games and missed thousands of shots during his career. But he once said, I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. These people succeeded because they understood that you can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. You have to let them show you what to do differently the next time. So if you get into trouble, that doesn't mean you're a troublemaker. It means you need to try harder to act right. If you get a bad grade, that doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you need to spend more time studying.
Number 3, the past does not equal the future. Who here has been rejected by a girl or a guy before? And if you don't raise your hands, I'm calling you a liar. A lot of people have not raised their hands. I'm surprised. I'll raise both. Well, all of us have, but the tragedy of this experience is not the experience itself. It's the meaning that we usually take home with us. Because I was rejected then, I'll be rejected again. The past will equal the future. Perfect formula for misery. The past does not equal the future. Tony Robbins, one of the greatest teachers that I know, has taught this principle in a marvelous way. He said, and if you're going to take anything home from my talk, take this principle. The only thing that keeps us from getting what we want is the story we keep telling ourselves about why we can't have it. The only thing that keeps us from getting what we want is the story we keep telling ourselves about why we can't have it. Reality is, now is our reality. We can create our own story. We're all great storytellers. We have a blank page in front of us every day to create a story based on our now truth, not on our past truth.
The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? Here's my second point about failure. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
A lot of people, it's hard to imagine, but you have to learn how to fail. Because I'm going to explain this to you. I had big dreams. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're going to have a lot of bad days, a lot of setbacks. So like when I was losing 106 pounds in 3 months, the first 2 months or first 2 weeks, it's like I was gaining weight. You know, I would lose a pound, gain 2. So I was just failing. I kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. And what that means is when I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast because my goals were to be a Navy SEAL. I don't have time to stay here and feel bad for myself for weeks and months and years because I'll lose that time. So the big thing is know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way, failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that? And you got to teach yourself that.
There's one special quality that you can develop that will guarantee your greater success, accomplishment, and happiness in life. Of 1,000 principles for success developed over the ages, this one quality or practice will do more to assure that you accomplish wonderful things with your life than anything else.
It's not something that you can talk through. It's a behavioral thing. You have to get up every day and do the work, right? Consistently do the work.
Did you know that only 1% of people are naturally, extraordinarily gifted at something? Do you know what that means for us, the other 99+% of people? If we're going to do anything great in this life, it is going to require discipline. That's the truth. If you are going to accomplish anything extraordinary with the days the Lord has trusted to you on this planet, it is going to require you pushing through the discomfort and embracing the grind.
Discipline is art. Yeah, I think it is, because it's beautiful for me to see. When I see someone who's really, truly disciplined, who like a David Goggins, someone who just like truly maximizes the grind, I feel like there's an art to that.
Goggins, Jocko, Rogan. Is there a common theme? You can throw you in there too as this ascension up. Everybody is fit and disciplined. Is there people who are not fit and not disciplined who are influential?
Well, think about it this way. Do you think that the most successful people in the world became successful and then got disciplined? Or do you think that they became disciplined and then got successful?
Yeah, obviously the latter, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Most people are going to win through discipline.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't care how good you are in anything. You don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
Right.
You're nothing without discipline because you give up under the slightest struggle without discipline.
100%.
It's going to make it so much easier. And I think if you look at the greats in anything that, in any walk of life, the greats do things when they don't always want to. And that's the separation.
You can see now how important self-discipline is. It's building that baseline that allows you to act in accordance with your long-term goals, no matter how motivated you feel.
Fortunately, the quality of self-discipline is something that you can learn by continuous practice. over and over until you master it. Once you've mastered the ability to delay gratification, the ability to discipline yourself to keep your attention focused on the most important task in front of you, there is virtually no goal that you cannot accomplish and no task that you cannot complete.
Eliminate as many distractions as you can and get to a point where you don't need the dopamine rushes of social media. Eliminate distractions and build that muscle of focus. And on this phone has Strides, Trello, Bear, which is my note-taking app, Aura, and Uber, and that's it.
We may think that these external things actually help us relax, but in reality they don't. They just train us even more. I thought about what exactly I use TikTok for other than watching videos, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this off. And so I did. There's usually a screen right here in a PlayStation. Gave it to my little sister. So just, limiting myself from wasting this energy on these things that don't benefit me in any way. I felt free after releasing it. And now it's just, I'm gonna live differently.
You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone. I'm sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year.
Right? Sacrifice temporary fun for permanent dreams, or sacrifice your permanent dreams for temporary fun. And the reality is a lot of you guys are willing to sacrifice your permanent dreams for some temporary fun. Yeah. And that temporary fun is never going to get you anywhere.
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures. So good, because we say find the thing which you enjoy the most, but really what you're finding is what is the pain you're prepared to swallow the most.
So the human brain operates by pleasure and pain. What is pleasurable, we're attracted to, and what is painful, we naturally recoil from. And if things become too painful, we never do them. And if things become pleasurable, we get addicted to them, often with bad consequences. All right? So if the idea of discipline, of consistently doing an action, is only associated with pain, with tedium, of being by yourself in a room, doing one thing over and over and over again, you're never going to get over the mountain because it's associated with too much pain, and the brain naturally shrinks from anything that's painful. Okay? So there has to be pleasure involved. Discipline has to have an element of pleasure. Consistently doing your work has to have rewards. Reward is the key word here, right? But if you've never experienced a reward from discipline, it's going to be very difficult for you. But you have to know that after the 3 months or the 6 months of sitting in your office and writing every single day over and over and over again, if you're trying to write a book or a novel or whatever, it's boring as hell. But man, I'm going to reach that moment in 3 months and 4 months. There's going to be a reward, and I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to get addicted. I'm going to get hooked to that. And you get hooked to those rewards to the point where other kinds of immediate pleasures don't have the same effect on you. And you want this again and again and again in your life. The highs that come from actually reaching your goals. So you have to think in the moment of this where you're trying to discipline yourself of what will be the reward of the visualize it and feel it. I'm going to have this skill at the end. I'm going to have this business that I've started. I'm going to have this sense of pride. I'm going to have this sense that I got where I wanted to.
Okay, number one, specify your damn goals, because how are you going to hit something if you don't know what it is? That isn't going to happen.
This means that you sit down with a pad of paper, a pen, and ample time to think. You think through and then make a written list of all the things that you want to accomplish in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. You organize the list into the various areas of your life, your career, your money, your family, your health, and the other parts that are important to you. Interestingly enough, if you can be clear about your goals and write them down, there's nothing that can stop you from achieving them.
Okay, so once you get your goal structure set up, you think, okay, if I could have this life, it looks like that might be worth living, despite the fact that it's going to be, anxiety provoking and threatening, and there's going to be some suffering and loss involved in all of that, obviously. The goal is to have a vision for your life such that, all things considered, that justifies your effort. Okay, so then what do? Well, then you turn down to the micro routines. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm aiming for. How does that instantiate itself day to day, week to week, month to month? And that's where something like a schedule can be unbelievably useful. Google Calendar. It's like, make a damn schedule and stick to it. Okay, so what's the rule with the schedule? It's not a bloody prison. That's the first thing that people do wrong. They say, well, I don't like to follow a schedule. Well, it's like, well, what kind of schedule are you setting up? Well, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, you know, and then I just go play video games, because who wants to do all these things that I have to do? It's like, wrong. Set the damn schedule up so that you have the day you want. That's the trick. It's like, okay, I've got tomorrow. If I was going to set it up so it was the best possible day I could have, practically speaking, what would it look like?
Top people think about what they want and how to get it most of the time. And as a result, they're thinking about their goal, and they're thinking about the actions that they can take every single minute of every day to move faster toward achieving that goal. Earl Nightingale once said that happiness is the progressive, step-by-step realization of a worthy ideal or goal. When you feel yourself moving step by step, each hour, each day, toward achieving something that's important to you, you feel positive and happy most of the time.
What do you think is the key to achieving our goals, our success? Some people suggest things like hard work, focus, persistence. But research shows these are all byproducts of something else, something much more powerful that we can all develop.
Your mind. You have to be able, like, if your mind starts getting anxious, okay, I know we're getting weird, it's time to work out. Okay, I know maybe we should meditate, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. Don't just keep scrolling. You got to know when and when, but most people don't have that kind of self-control and discipline.
Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Think about every poor decision you've made in your life. Gosh. There was more emotion that was involved in it than there was mind. Every single one of them. Think about it.
Really was.
Your feelings keep you in bed. Your mind tells you, get up.
Our mind, it's a box of surprises, and you have to challenge yourself to be consistent. I repeat, sometimes it's hard. It's what many people say, you like to go to the gym every day. Of course, no. It's not true. Nobody likes to go to the gym every day. But you have to do it. Probably yes, because your mental strength is coming from that.
How you gain mental toughness, how you become the person you want to be, is constantly facing the things that you don't want to face. If you constantly run away from things that you don't want to face, how is there growth?
They hate it. They hate the struggle. They hate the suck. But if you ever worked with elite army people, they have this great saying, right? Especially the Green Berets, I love that saying. They say you have to embrace the suck.
Commit to do what you say you're going to do. From this day forward, if you say you're going to do it, you do it. So if you're anxious when you hear that because you're like, that's tough. Well, just remember that you're the only person that gets to decide what you agree to or don't agree to. So just quit agreeing to everything if you're so worried about it. Like, really think about what you're going to commit to. We're taught to set these high goals. And if I set a goal that I'm going to make 100,000 this month and I come in at 95,000, that's a loss. I didn't get to the 100 and I lost. Now everyone will rationalize and tell me how close I got and how good the effort was. But at the end of the day, it's a loss. And the subconscious mind records it as an L. So you got to lower your goals. No one will tell you this, but trust me, you got to lower your goals to something that you know you can achieve. Can you walk one more mile? Can you eat one less French fry? Can you make one more phone call? Can you do this much more than you did before? And the answer is, of course I can. Okay, then set your goal there and start racking up the wins.
Everything counts. Everything that you do counts. The biggest mistake that people make is they think that only what they want to count counts. No, When you read a book, when you listen to an audio program, when you go to a course, when you go to bed early and get up early and you work, it all counts.
Say what you can do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive.
Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing at a park bench. They're a test of your endurance, or how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way.
Why? Because once the mind knows you're not going to quit something, it's going to try to find more. It's going to try to give you more. Once it realizes you're not going to take the path of least resistance, you're going to stay here until it's done. My mind and my body and my spirit became one for the first time ever. For the first time ever, it became one. And I went to a level that I never thought was humanly possible for myself or anybody else.
Just when you think you can't take any more, that means you're about a third of the way to your limits as a human, as a species. Learning that as a young man or woman is a blessing, because what it means is you have the confidence that when things are hard, physically, emotionally, mentally, you realize, oh my God, I could take so much more and still be fine. And when I worked, my first job was at Morgan Stanley, an investment bank, and I was undereducated relative to my peer group. So I wasn't as skilled as my peer group. So I decided every Tuesday morning I was going to come into work and I wasn't going to leave till Wednesday night. And I'm like, I can do that. I'm physically really strong. I'm mentally really strong. And it sent a signal to the rest of the organization that I came to play. Develop that kind of grit and strength emotionally, physically, and intellectually. You're capable of it. You're just going to look back on that era and be like, just marvel at how out of control strong you are, both mentally and physically.
And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act.
Action is the key to everything. Even if you take the wrong action, if you keep changing your approach, you can succeed in anything. The problem is most people live in their heads. They have their dream, they have their goal, they have their desire, they get hyped up about it, they get fearful about it, and they just don't execute.
If you ask people, older people, to look back on their life and to list their regrets, it's much more common for them to have serious regrets about chances they didn't take than failures that they experienced. The thing about failure is a weird thing, because my experience in life has been that nothing I ever actually did failed. It didn't necessarily produce the result that I intended when I intended it. But if it was a genuine effort and I followed through on it, there was some benefit that emerged in consequence of that justified the effort. And sometimes that was quite a long time later. Maybe what you learn is how you could have done it better or how you could do it better, but you're going to learn something.
He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what leadership, what books, what gifts will die with you? Very good friend that I lost recently, Miles Monroe, said, the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, because there you find potential never realized. There you find dreams never pursued. There you find people allow themselves to be imprisoned by fear and living a small life. Maybe that's why one woman asked in a moment of anguish, what if you live your whole life only to discover it was wrong? Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential.
People get worried about dying and no longer being here, but they don't realize that so much of their life is spent not being here in any case.
Far too often, people focus all of their energy and their attention on their future happiness and forget to enjoy the present moment.
The main part of people's attention is there, but in the meantime, they are here, where they don't really want to be.
Or they're stuck in the past, reliving old victories or nursing old wounds that prevent them from making the most of where they are right now.
A lot of times people are in conversations or they're somewhere, they're elsewhere. You may think they're with you, but they're not.
If they walk in the street and they're not really there in their mind thinking about all kinds of things except where they are, and so they're not here.
When you work, work. When you play, play. Don't mix the two. Don't work at play. I used to take my family to the beach and I would bring my briefcase. Or at the beach, I'm saying I should be at the office. I should be at the office. Now my family's upset because I'm at the beach and I'm thinking office, office, office. Now when I'm at the office, I'm thinking what? I got to get my family to the beach, the beach, the beach. So things are not going too well at the office because I'm thinking beach, and things are not going too well at the beach because I'm thinking office. Here's what I learned to do. At the beach, be at the beach. At the office, be at the office. When you work, work. When you play, play. Don't mix the two.
In each moment, the thing matters. In each moment, it's the only thing that matters, actually. What's happening in front of you literally has all the meaning in the world. And so what matters is just being present for the thing. So if you're doing something that you want to do and you're fully there for it, then it's not wasted time. If you don't want to do it and your mind is running away from it and you're reacting against it and you're wishing you were somewhere else and you're thinking about some other thing or you're anticipating some future thing or regretting some past thing or being fearful of something, then that's wasted time. That's time that's being wasted when you're not actually present for the reality in front of you.
Present moment is truly all we ever are able to experience. The truth is you can't actually live in the past or in the future. Those are just constructs of your mind. The only time you're ever able to experience your life is right now in this present moment. And the more time and energy you devote to fully experiencing and getting the most out of each moment right now, the more joyful and fulfilling your life will be.
Enjoy it. Make the best of it. You know, it's even briefer than that. Each moment just disappears. It's gone. There's only a present moment and it's gone instantly. So if you're not there for it, if you're stressed out or you're anxious or you're thinking about something else, you missed it. So any moment when you're not in that moment, you are dead to that moment.
Thinking is something different than experiencing, than sensing, than feeling life itself. Stop thinking too much. Don't go into the past. Don't go into the future. Be in the present. Why? Because only then it's possible that the mind is free, the capacity is free, and now you can completely immerse into whatever you are doing. And this means you have arrived.
Life doesn't last forever. And if you spend all of your time looking forward to the future or back to the past, you never get the chance to fully appreciate the moment you're living right now.
You know, you are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you did, you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving.
Past is past, it's never come again. The present, it's the best gift that we have in our life. The present. Because you don't know that what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. I don't know, you don't know. So live the present.
I recognized, like in a moment, what detachment was and how helpful it was. And I'm standing in this skirmish line and I'm waiting for someone to make a call and tell us what to do. And I wait for 5 seconds and I wait for 10 seconds and I wait for 20 seconds and no one's saying anything. And finally, after like 30 seconds, which seems like an eternity, I can't take it anymore. I look to my left, I look to my right. I can see the whole scene and I can see exactly what it is we need to do. And I open my mouth and I say, hold left, clear right. Everyone just repeats the call. Hold left, clear right, hold left, clear right. The platoon chief goes, hey, Jocko, good call. But then I thought to myself, hold on a second. Why? If I'm the youngest, most junior guy in this platoon, why was I able to see what we needed to do and make that call? Why did that just happen? And then I realized it was because I took a step back, which allowed me to think more clearly. And I realized that taking a step back and detaching, I got to see infinitely more than even the most experienced guys in my platoon. And then I started doing it like when I was having conversations with people. I'm having a conversation with my platoon chief, and I can see that he's starting to turn a little red in the face, and we're about to argue about something. I said, oh, wait a second. I'm taking a step back, looking, going, he's getting mad right now, and he's the platoon chief. You better just de-escalate this thing real quick. And I'd say, hey, you know what, chief, that sounds good. Let me go relook at the plan or whatever. And so I started to do this kind of with my normal life, was to not get wrapped up in my own emotions, but instead take a step back, detach, look around, and then you can make a much, much better decision.
You go into the witnessing mode. You look at it, so to speak, not necessarily visually, but you give it attention. This is a challenge. Instead of unconscious reactivity.
I get defensive. What am I going to do? I'm going to raise my hands up and put my chin down. That's like a fighting mode. So if you and I are having a discussion and I'm starting to get heated and I'm starting to like, oh, he's not listening to me. Instead of me putting my chin down and putting my hands like up to where I can put them in your face a little bit. No, I'm actually going to take a step back. I'm going to say, put my chin up. It changes my perspective a little bit more. Changes my visual perspective, just by changing the angle of my head. Take a step back. Put my hands down. I'm not being in a defensive mood. I actually want to hear what you have to say. So those are some of the methodologies that I use and that I advise people to use in order to effectively start down the pathway of being able to detach in various scenarios.
And remind yourself that you want to remain present during the day. And a powerful way to do this is to look into your own eyes in the mirror and say out loud to yourself, today I'm choosing to stay present, to give my full attention to whoever or whatever is in front of me. I choose to be aware of my breathing and how I feel in my body, as well as the person or the task I'm engaged with. Develop a system for reminding yourself to come present throughout the day. This could include a reminder or an alarm on your smartphone to go off every 30 minutes throughout the day. And when you hear the alarm, to stop, take 5 deep, relaxing breaths. See if you can inhale and exhale to a slow count of 6. That'll give you a real deep breath. And then quickly scan your body from your head to your toes and notice what you're feeling.
That is a practice to get used to until it becomes second nature, to have your attention in the present moment rather than elsewhere.
Imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now, and you're the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
What would that guy do?
Yeah.
What would that guy do right now?
Yeah.
Because you are.
Love that frame. It's like, okay, boom, now you're present in your movie. What would that guy do? It's like,
you're living. That's it. Period.
Did you see that? It was a guy who removed people's phones from their hands. It was a photographer who went around, I think it was maybe New York City, and he took photos of people and then CGI'd the phones out. You know, you're talking about, imagine if there was this thing and it made you stare at your hand. He actually did it. So it shows just how absurd it is. You know, you've got an entire train carriage on the subway, on the underground.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's staring at their
And it's
hand.
just people staring down at their hands.
Oh, wow. Oh, those people just sitting there staring. Oh, that's so crazy.
Go back, Jamie, go back up to that one of the kid.
Wow.
Real how much time you waste during the day. And most of it is on these computers, phones, you know, Instagramming back and forth, whatever you call it nowadays, tweeting and texting. We waste so much time on our little gadgets.
They can't put it down because it's the drug. It's the dopamine they need. They fiend for it.
Well, they don't have good control of their consciousness. They don't have good control of their intention and their mindset. It's a real problem with people because the thing that's compelling to them they can't avoid. The thing that's compelling is what are people saying? What are they doing? What are they commenting? What are they posting? I got to read it. I got to respond. I got to go back and forth. I have to have the best response. I have to this. I have to that.
No. You can either A, right, sacrifice temporary fun for permanent dreams, or sacrifice your permanent dreams for temporary fun. And the reality is a lot of you guys are willing to sacrifice your permanent dreams for some temporary fun.
Yeah.
And that temporary fun is never going to get you anywhere.
And then there's people that are addicted to TikTok. They're just scrolling like mindlessly, like robots,
Zombies.
watching things happen. And they're not doing anything. And you've lost hours of your time. You've absorbed nothing. You've got no information. There's no net benefit to what you've done. And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. So many people are doing it. It's wild to watch my kids, like with TikTok, watch them stare at their phones and going through it. I'm like, hey, that's the devil. Put that thing down.
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting out of that? You're not getting anything out of that.
So for me, I just try to eliminate as many distractions as possible. So how do you attain monastic levels of flow and focus? Eliminate as many distractions as you can and get to a point where you don't need the dopamine rushes of social media. And on this phone has Strides, Trello, Bear, which is my note-taking app, Aura, and Uber. And that's it.
The biggest thing that I hear, and I know you must hear constantly every single day, is like, I don't have time, man. You don't know my life. I got this, I got that, I got this.
Yep.
It's not going to happen for me.
Right. What you don't have is you haven't prioritized your life correctly. We all have time. We all have time. You have to take your day and write down this one day. Everything you do, write that down. And you're like, my God, I am wasting so much time on frivolous bullshit. It's not even funny. I mean, it will, if it doesn't infuriate you, it should. Because there's so much time. I can't get it in. Look at your schedule. You just wasted 7 hours today. What you've done wrong is that you didn't prioritize yourself. You didn't prioritize that, look, I got to get up and win this war today against myself. I need to look better. I need to feel better. I need to eat better. I need to prioritize time. Having a routine for success is very important because without having those habits in those certain disciplines in life, you kind of just live life, haphazard. You don't really have the schedule. And with that schedule and with those habits, that's what builds that discipline for you to accomplish your goals and your dreams.
Get a routine. Get up every day at the same time. Go to bed at the same time. Establish disciplined habits. And that will help a lot. Schedule. And here's how to use a schedule. Use a calendar. Use Google Calendar, but don't use it as a tyrant. You want to use a calendar as if it's your confidant and advisor. And what you want to do is use the calendar, sit down and open the calendar and think, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to design a week of days that I would really like to have.
Okay, so what's the rule with the schedule? It's not a bloody prison. That's the first thing that people do wrong. They say, well, I don't like to follow a schedule. Well, it's like, well, what kind of schedule are you setting up? Well, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this. And then I just go play video games because who wants to do all these things that I have to do? It's like, wrong. Set the damn schedule up so that you have the day you want. That's the trick. It's like, okay, I've got tomorrow. If I was going to set it up so it was the best possible day I could have, practically speaking, what would it look like?
Yeah. Doing the same thing every day, same routine, same drive to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel that what you're sharing is, that's easy for anyone to do. It's not like, oh, because you're Kobe Bryant, you don't feel that. Everyone gets into that.
Sure.
But you're able to find these creative outlets.
Yeah, well, creativity isn't everything, even in consistent, what I found is creativity a lot of time comes from structure.
I agree. I'm so glad you said that.
You have those parameters and the structure, then within that you can be creative. But if you don't have the structure, you're just aimlessly doing stuff.
The best way to get the optimum results out of your day is to plan your day the night before. There are two reasons for this. Too often during the day, we're just responding to everyone else's needs instead of doing our intended plan. So if you don't have a plan, you're guaranteed not to be doing what you want to do. You'll be responding to other people. The second reason for planning your day the night before is you can rationally decide what you're going to do at what time of the day. Too often people just work from a to-do list. What you want is to schedule exactly what you're going to do at what time. Schedule how long you think it's going to take.
Every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution or getting the job done. So the most important thing you can do is plan your day, preferably the night before. Sit down with a piece of paper and write down everything that you have to do the coming day. It should be the last thing you do at the end of the day.
And by doing it the night before, here's the payoff. All night long, your unconscious and subconscious mind is going to be working on how to make that happen. It's going to be coming up with creative ideas, pulling information from your past memory into the present so you can utilize it, and literally planning your perfect day. It's like having an employee working for you all night long. If you do it in the morning, you don't get that benefit. And then start to work your plan.
Like having a clear structure of understanding, okay, this morning I'm going to, like when I was writing a Wizard Art series and outlining Legacy, I come in the morning, 7 a.m., and I'm there. I'm writing backstory from 7 to 12, then go pick up my kids, and then I come right back and I'm writing again. So like within that structure, you know, my mind when I go to sleep is already like planning of what the next day is going to be because I know, you know, what it is I have to do. It's that consistency and structure.
Set a time to train at that time. Set a time to go to sleep at that time. Set a time to get up at that time. Don't tell yourself you need to do something and then don't do it.
Because the more discipline you have in your life, the more freedom you will end up with. So if you lack the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up being a slave to disease. If you lack the discipline to work hard, save your money, you will end up a slave to finances. If you lack the discipline to manage your time correctly, you will end up with no free time. If you have self-discipline, if you have the discipline to save your money and work hard and invest your money properly, if you have the discipline to manage your time correctly and not waste a bunch of time, if you have the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up with freedom.
Get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, you know, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but you know, if you live your life to just get better every single day, you do that for 20 years, I mean, what do you have?
Just doing it every day.
Yes, every day.
Do you ever wake up and you say, I don't want to do it today?
I fight against my mind. Yes, sometimes it's happened. We are all human beings. We are not happy every day. We are, you know, not in a good mood every day. It's normal. It's part of us.
What do you do to overcome that?
I fight against that. You know, it's the big challenge. It's when you're not willing to do something, but you have to do it.
The most important thing is the consistency. If you have consistency, you're going to be good in the future, or you're going to be better than other ones in the future. This is my opinion. Sometimes you don't want to go to the gym. Of course, no. Sometimes I don't go to do but I go because I have a compromise with myself. But I'm not go happy every day. You think I'm wake up off the bed every day happy, or with my wife or with my kids? Sometimes I'm not. But it's part of our time. We are both the same. We feel this every time. To mention again, the most important thing is to have a routine.
Yeah, so basically, I've been journaling now for several years.
Look, I've been journaling for like 4 or 5 years. You'll see right all over my house, like I've just got like journal, notepad. As you can see up here, I keep few more journals.
Yeah, so you've been keeping a journal for 36 years?
Yep. Why should you actually journal? Well, first of all, just to kind of, for me, the like when you're an entrepreneur, you think a lot, right? You think a lot, and you come into you face issues daily, and there's problems with your business, or there's little things that are niggling away like at you, and you don't realize them. Like when you write down every single morning, just what are 3 things that are weighing you down that day? Like try that, and you will see your stress level, your unhappiness level, like all these things will just like, they'll completely vanish, right? Your happiness will go through the roof because there's so many little things that you don't even realize. Like you wake up and there's this weight on your shoulders.
The patients who journaled for 20 minutes a day reported decreased feelings of stress.
And does journaling have an impact on your physical health?
It does. It does. So what happens is when you're starting to writing and you're getting all that negativity out, people who have had problems, like if they had a stomach ache or they weren't feeling well, it's releasing that anxiety because they're be able to see their thoughts and their feelings on paper or on the computer. And then they just don't report as many physical symptoms. It's like if you have all this angst inside of you and you're able to release it, and it just helps you feel better. What happens is you're transferring any negative feelings, emotions, thoughts, problems from your mind to paper if you're writing or to your computer if you're typing. So it's that transference.
This practice should easily be placed among some of the other critical, so-called foundational pillar practices in terms of its impact on improving mental and physical health, including things like lowering anxiety, improving sleep, improving immunity to things like colds, flus, etc., as well as reducing the symptoms of autoimmune disorders such as arthritis, lupus, and also providing some relief for fibromyalgia.
What made you start doing that?
I think probably in the beginning, the usual reason someone writes in a journal, you know, well, my heart's broken. Gretchen Donnelly broke up with me. Oh, why do I have all these pimples on my face? Why do I only have peach fuzz over my pecker and everyone else has? In my early 20s, I remember I was kind of rolling. I was in college. I had a job. I had money in my pocket. I had a nice girlfriend, making my grades. My relationships were good. And I remember going, oh, you hadn't been writing in your journal near as much. Notice you don't do that so much, McConaughey, when things are going well. And I said, I think you better start writing down things when things are going well. I mean, my idea was that, hey, you're going to get in a rut again. You'll lose your frequency again in life. You might want this to go back and look at to help you recalibrate. And that proved to be true. You know, so many times we dissect failure and hardships in our life, but we don't dissect success. And going back in those journals, I found that there were times when I got in a rut later and I was able to go back to those journals and go, what were your habits when you were rolling, man? Who were you hanging out with? Where were you going? What were you eating? What were you drinking? How much sleep were you getting? How are you looking at life? And they helped me recalibrate in the times when I was off frequency and get back on the rails again and find my frequency again.
And I should have brought my journal with me, man. I mean, I have several of them. I have these little green military notebooks that I've kept. I actually put a couple in the book there, a couple of write-outs. But I write down my day. And what I do is I go back and study that day. Like sometimes I might get sick. I might be overtrained. I might gain a couple pounds here. I might feel whatever. And then it's like my accountability journal of what I'm doing with my life, physical, mental. I had an eating journal, all this. And it helps me go back to, once again, study. I'm a lab rat. And I study myself. And I'm like, when I'm feeling up, I go, okay, what did I do last week? And usually I can find out where I messed up last week, you know, how much I'm traveling, how much I'm sleeping, how much I'm doing all this stuff. And through journaling, man, you can really figure out so much about where you're messing up in life and what you need to fix about yourself.
The other reason I like journals is because, like, you know, like you can look back over some of the and it's so interesting. Like you can see 2017 goals, make 100,000, did that. Have 20,000 YouTube subscribers, did not do that. Travel to, maybe there's some huge like bump up by the end, but travel to 12 new cities, did that. This is a promise to myself, the opportunity is there, you just need to find the solutions. And look, you can like, there's so much stuff that you can look back at and cool just to see like, what are your thought patterns before and compare them to now. Whenever you're researching, whenever you're coming to stumbling blocks in your business, in your life, in your happiness, in your relationship, whatever the it may be, write it down in your journal. And the cool thing is, I can look at these in 10 years and go, E-man, you had no idea what the hell you were doing, but at least you figured it out in the end.
You cannot put bullshit in there. Yeah. It's got to be a real journal about, hey, today I messed up here. Today I should have been a better person here, and not just saying it, but actually trying to fix it tomorrow.
When you actually take the time to journal, and you have something like there, you have something that you can see, and you can see exactly where you've come from and where you're at now, I think it's honestly incredible. And I would recommend to anyone, just go pick up some journals.
So sometimes we think that writing in a journal, we think of it as a very intimidating process. Like, oh, I've got to write now. I need to write something really good. No, you don't have to write anything good. It doesn't have to be good at all. You don't even have to write. You can doodle. You can draw. You can scribble. You can write, you can make stupid words rhyme. You can write lyrics. You can draw album covers. You can take a picture and paste it in there. You can draw a horrible picture of something that you remember. There are no rules with journaling. And what you'll find when you're finished with the journal is you'll look back and I believe you'll start to see themes. You maybe will see how maybe you are a poet and didn't even know it. You will see, oh, over the last few months when I filled my journal, these are the things that turned me on in life. These are the things that propelled me to pull out the pen and write my journal. You're going to find themes of how you think and how you feel mentally in here. And it's going to tell you a lot about yourself. So take that journey. Hop on the left lane. Put the pedal to the metal. Don't be afraid to pull the pen out.
Okay, let's talk about this particularly transformative form of journaling that initially was researched by Dr. James Pennebaker. The particular journaling method and protocol that I will describe has also been shown to improve various metrics of everyday living, including improved memory, decision-making, and on and on and on. What that study essentially consisted of was inviting undergraduate students into the university laboratory one at a time, and they were to spend 15 to 30 minutes writing about the most difficult, even traumatic or possibly non-traumatic, but still very difficult experience that they can recall from their entire life. Okay, so the first key instruction is that they take a moment to think about what is the most difficult, perhaps even traumatic experience of their entire life. The second instruction was that they were supposed to write for 15 to 30 minutes. And the third instruction was that they were supposed to write for the entire time. So it's important that if you decide to implement this protocol in your own life, that you carry out the writing in a place where you will not be disturbed for that entire 15 to 30 minute duration. Writing about something very stressful or traumatic for 15 to 30 minutes, 4 times, either on consecutive days or separated out by a week between each of those 4 writing sessions, can produce long-lasting positive effects on mental and physical health.
There was a study done in Florida at a tennis academy, and what they looked at was what is the difference between those tennis players that are top 5 in the world versus those that are top 25? Was it their diet? No. Was it their exercise? No. Was it when they started playing the game? No. Was it their coaching? No. What they actually found was this. The difference between the top 5 ranked people in the world and the others in the top 25 was their thinking. In the 10 to 15 seconds after a point had been scored in tennis, those athletes that thought positive things such as, I love this game. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I may have not got that shot, but I'm going to get the next one. Watch this. Those athletes that thought positive, it slowed down their heart rate, slowed down their breathing rate, and across the entire competition, they were conserving a lot of energy. They were feeling better about themselves. And thus, across an entire tennis match, in the end, they were victorious.
Mostly what goes on through our mind and our subconscious is negative.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could have done this better. Oh, I'm so dumb. I said stupid this. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how we think.
All too often, our brain goes to negative. It looks for what is wrong in our environment, and it does that as a way to keep us safe. It searches for what is wrong.
Thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water on the table here, and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping and keep dropping, you get, the table becomes a wash, and then you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, We can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always.
Human beings, because of the size of the neocortex, we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. We can think about our problems and turn on those chemicals. That means then our thoughts could make us sick. So if it's possible that our thoughts could make us sick, is it possible then our thoughts could make us well? And the answer is absolutely yes.
If you think in a positive way, you'll have positive results, and you'll be happy most of the time.
But the people who achieve the peak amounts of success, the highest performers in the world, have said, you know what? I need to discipline my mind to support me even when it comes up with an automatic, immediate thoughts. I want those to be positive and buoyant and confident and strong, something that leads me to healthy decisions for my life.
Discipline your thoughts. Stop thinking too much. Don't go into the past. Don't go into the future. Be in the present. Why? Because only then it's possible that the mind is free, the capacity is free, and now you can completely immerse into whatever you are doing. And this means you have arrived.
Gratitude erases negativity. I'm gonna show you how this works. If you wake up in the morning, you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping, I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel, in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop, just stop for a second and start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want, everything you already have, because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get yourself something to eat, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go and turn the key and call someplace home, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you're beautiful, that's another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you, I don't even know you. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you.
We need to search for what is right. We need to search for what we can be grateful for. And so what we need to do is we need to find 3 things that we're grateful for early in the morning, not late at night, but early in the morning when your brain is still kind of waking up, it's still kind of in theta state, because theta is the most programmable state that you can be in. And so a simple exercise like this can just help shift your focus from what's wrong in your life to what's going right, or what you can be proud of, or what you can find that's good.
We can give positive thinking, positive questions, positive approaches to life, a lot of importance in our life, and a lot of focus, and focus on them and give a lot of duration to them over a period of time, and they get sealed in the brain as well. And now the brain says, well, that's easy, automatically thinks about it.
And then when I started paying attention to my thoughts and changing them and saying, you know what, thank you for sharing that, brain or spirit or whatever's going on in there, but you know what, I am doing good, I am better, I am trying, you know, and redirecting those thoughts to be more positive thoughts and affirmations like, me and my children are always healthy. I am, you know, we live a joyous life. You know, things like this every single day really help redirect me from the beginning of my day. And it's hard to do, but sometimes it just, you know, out to the universe, I accept all the good things the universe has to offer. You know what I mean? Just things like that every single day just help you to start off your mind and your day in the right way. And it helps.
Once we say, what's my mind on right now? And we redirect it, that is where personal power comes from. First, awareness, right? And understanding and the consciousness to what's going on. But then the ability now to be self-directive, to choose what we want to focus on. So first we're attentive to it, and then redirect it. If it's negative, it's not supporting you, redirect it. Creatively force it to direct it to a different possible alternative. Force it. Literally go, oh, I'm sensing this negative thing over here is coming up for me. I'm sensing it. Stop. Okay, get to work, brain. What positive thing could I create and focus on? and close your eyes and think about it and focus on it and focus on it and focus on it and build it out. Make it elaborate in your own mind so you can visualize and see it and feel it and focus on it, focus on it, focus on it. Literally, later on in the evening, focus on it again, focus on it again. I mean, you start building in that capacity.
Do you have a problem in life? No? Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry?
I'll change the word problem to the word situation. Whereas problem is a negative word that triggers feelings of fear and anxiety, situation is a neutral word. So instead of saying we have a problem, you can say we have a situation. Perhaps the best word of all is opportunity. Instead of saying we have a problem, you can say we have an unexpected opportunity.
Remember, practicing positive thinking, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to be positive today and wake up tomorrow and just immediately be like, oh my God, I'm so positive. But when you're really consistent with it, when you practice it all the time, you can actually change your mindset. You can actually change the structure of your brain.
The main part is to find a way to relate all of these teachings into your life. You are the one who is supposed to benefit from these teachings.
So what's your excuse?
It's warm on the couch.
That's
Your
it.
missus says stay in
That's
bed.
it.
It's comfy.
That's
it's
it.
cozy.
That's
You've got
it.
work later on. You had an argument last night. You're
That's
slightly
it.
hungover.
I'm not good enough, smart enough. I'm not talented enough.
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Because you grew up in a household with dysfunction, drama, mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional abuse. Doesn't mean that that's the outcome of what your life, your career is destined to be.
Is it too cold where you live? Is it too hot where you live? Does it rain too much? Now it's time for some real talk. Maybe you're the only black person applying for a job. Maybe you're the only female. Maybe you're the only gay person. Job, whatever the it may be. Maybe that gets in your head. Maybe that's your excuse for not being better. When I was young, all those things got in my head. Black, not smart enough, single mom, all that own space in my head. If you're allowing people and things and situations to own space in your head, you're losing. Last thing, life's one big head game. You play with yourself. If you lose, it's because you allow life to get in your head.
Because you're sad, now you're going to make a bunch of bad decisions because you're sad. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're sad, okay. You get emotional sometimes, okay. Got it. Now get control of your emotions and carry on with your life. And sometimes you're going to get hit with those waves, and that's okay. There's something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. The other extreme is, I'm letting my emotions run my life and I'm making a bunch of bad decisions. And my excuse is, I lost some friends or I had this traumatic experience happen to me. That's why I'm doing, that's just an excuse. And it's a very easy excuse. Guess what? It's time to carry on. Embrace those emotions, but don't let those emotions embrace you.
No one's going to come to help me. No one's going to come to help me. It's me against me, period. And so I had to man up. And I said, the first thing I start doing is facing every fear I have. I was like, man, what story would it be if my fat, dumb, lying to be friends with people, insecure ass can overcome this? And that what if mentality, like that dreamer mentality, just would always fuel me. And then the bike got easier. I was able to run more. I went from like 1 mile. 1 mile was a great accomplishment. 2 miles, and then from 2 to 3 was a big one. Then I went from 3 to 6. And then, like, they have a warning order that they give people to get ready for buds. And the whole thing was running 6 miles 5 days a week. And that was my goal. And so I just I failed, I go back to scratch. I use some positive motivation. I have like one day where I'm like defeated. But I started realizing this is part of the process. This is part of the journey. I had to realize this is part of my process. versus just saying, like I used to, I'm just not good enough. If I'm not good enough, we always say that, I'm just not good enough, and then we try something else. I'm going to make myself good enough. And that became my mentality. I'm gonna make myself good enough. And so I'm misunderstood a lot, but that's all it came down to. I made myself good enough. And the days I couldn't run that far, the next week, I would do 2-a-days. So on the running, if I ran a quarter of a mile, I wait a couple hours, it'd haunt me, bother me. I try to run a half a mile next time, same day. You can do more than this. If you lack talent, you can't sit back and say, I'll start in half an hour. I can't do that. I got to start now. And after I get back from starting, I got to start again. And then when I get done with that run or that study session, if it wasn't good enough, I got to go back again. Because repetition is what taught me everything. So you can honestly outwork anything.
Go do something that's hard. Go try and accomplish something that's hard. You may win, you may lose, you may succeed, you may fail. I'll tell you what, you'll be better. If you avoid those things that are hard, if you don't accept that challenge, if you don't step up and step into that cold water, and you sit on your couch and eat Doritos, I can tell you this is not a good move. This is not a good move. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just get up, move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. Move towards that challenge and go attack it. And you may be successful and you may not be successful, but you will be better. And the next challenge, you're going to be more prepared for. And the next challenge after that, you're going to be even more prepared for. And you're going to fail, 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 and then you're going to win. And that's life. Life without those challenges, it's just existence. Don't just exist. Go live.
I say level up. I know there's a whole bunch of people with that right there. That fires me up.
Why?
Because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch. Refuse to study a few more hours. Refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra.
They ain't ready for prime time. They ain't trying to really get right. They take days off, this day off, that day off. They lazy. I'm tired. No. Grind every day, one foot in front of the other, bro. And I promise you, I'm going to be lapping these folks, bro. Give it a year. Watch what happens.
Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's time to take it to another level. It's game on. It's focus. It's go season. Take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life. You got a problem with your environment. Do something about it.
Playing out the fear, Layla says this, and I love it, but that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it. And I just love that visual, because a lot of times when it's like we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make, if you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
I don't want you to get all emotional from this message that I'm leaving. Yeah, that's that real right there. 10 minutes later, 10 days later, you go back to doing the same. It's go season.
It's going to happen. It has to happen. And that's a fact.